And good evening, morning, wherever the hell you are in the world, whatever time it may happen to be. Welcome to Hint Plays Tabletop. I've muted everybody for the moment so they don't talk over my wonderful intro, because I'm bad enough at these without these people messing it up for me. So, today we are going to be playing Coriolis the Third Horizon, an Arabian Nights-inspired RPG from Free League Publishing. And with me to play this today, we have got my usual cohorts on Hint Plays. Nightbites, say hello, Nightbites. You're allowed now, I've unmuted you.
Oh, hello.
And Draticup, say hello, Draticup.
Hello.
I'm impressed. Neither of them said hello, Draticup, stroke Nightbites as appropriate. I was really expecting
convinced
one
I
of them
can
to.
at the moment. No.
You ruined it before I could say anything.
And we also have a special guest for a change.
Yay.
A long-time supporter of the channel, before there was even a channel, in fact. But the first time that he has played with us. So, hello, Mechiadon.
Good evening from Austria.
There
Yes,
you go.
we're living
Truly
up to our name.
International stream for a change. It's not Hobby Gamers International, consisting of 3 people who are within 20 miles of each other. No, probably a little bit more than that, but
I think 30 is probably closer to it.
probably 30, yeah. Nevertheless, here we are.
Yep.
So, you can see at the moment on screen, apart from us, a picture of one of the decks of the freighter Narzalus. No, Narzalus, even. I keep moving that R to the wrong place. I don't know quite why.
Yeah.
This is the freighter that our errant heroes are the crew of.
Evans.
So, yes, I think that's a good word for you. There are
Not
2 NPCs as
rogue.
well, which we will get round to in a moment, but for now, I think it would be good if we went through each of you introducing who you are playing, giving you whatever bit of background you want to give. What do your fellow crew members know about you? So looking at the stream, let's start with them. Go in the order that they appear on my stream, on Hint Play stream, which is going to be Nightbites first. So.
Oh, okay, dropping in at the deep end. Hi, I'm Farouk, and I'm your pilot. I'm rather sorry this isn't a military vessel, but it's fine. I can make it fly like anything you've ever been on before, and better. And I am rather partial to having my trusty co-pilot Shihad on hand. Kind of a good luck charm. Nice to have him around. So, Cap, if you're listening, don't let him get shot.
Draticup then.
Zainab. I have a horrible feeling. Yes, different spelling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Apologies in general. I am not firing on all thrusters today because I'm quite ill, so it's not just me being dippy over this game.
Also, apologies to anybody who's watched our Witcher games and has come here expecting more bad accents. I think we're avoiding them today. I think we've decided that since everyone in the game has an accent, we will just say that accent equates roughly to baseline English. Not sure what Shahad's excuse is.
Yes. It's a regional thing. Yeah. Possibly it's something you picked up in the data stream. So, right, yes, Zainab Farouk, a nominal captain of this expedition. My occupation is archaeologist. It pays me to keep my eyes open and be an observer. I also like to think I have a steady hand over those under my influence. I find Farouk himself to be useful in the same way that a particularly aggressive puppy is useful. And Shihad, again, extremely good at what he does, but he very much needs to be sure of his targeting. Always outwards, ever outwards, never inwards. Otherwise, I think I like to give people their heads as far as possible.
So, Becky.
Captain Sinister.
Well, my name is Shihad Mukhtar Ben Najjar, and I'm the token data spider. Meaning I take care of whatever engines there are that require tech in them. It goes from the dishwasher to the ship's engines. So if it turns, I know how it turns and I know how to manipulate it and draw the data for it. I mostly sit on the sensor station once we're flying around and keep track of the heat levels and all the things around us, very close and very far. I'm a social butterfly. I haven't always been a data spider. I was a courtesan once, and I still am, for various purposes.
Useful transferable skills.
Right. Also on the ship, we have a couple of NPC crewmen. We have got Zebarimus Hutul, known as Zebo, who is your engineer. So while Shihad is doing everything that requires actual pressing buttons, if it requires taking a wrench to something, that's generally going to be Zebo's job.
Don't let me fix anything.
And
you know how it works, but that's it.
manning the guns when necessary and just generally providing some muscle, we have got Ruya Galab, who is an ex-legionnaire. These two characters are here, but will not really be playing any part in this scenario. I will tell you now, so that you can successfully roleplay it and not mess everything up, that the decision is going to be made to leave them on the ship. So,
is it?
I can't think why that might be.
under other circumstances, I might give you a choice in that matter. But since this is the first time we've ever played this game, I don't really want to be handling two NPCs as well.
Yeah.
That figures.
Yeah. That works for me.
So, the background to our situation. You are the crew of the Narzalus. Although this is a freighter, you are actually an exploration group, really. You're moving around the Third Horizon, which is this area of around 36 star systems, connected by what are effectively jump gates, portals, and disconnected from the rest of human space. The first and second horizons do exist. They are still out there. They have got colony worlds in them, but you were separated from them by at the end of a big war some time ago. Within the Third Horizon, there is still a lot to be seen and a lot to be discovered. So, hence we have people like Zainab the archaeologist going around looking into these things. And there are also people looking into new places for colonies or mining installations or whatever. And that's the sort of work that this ship is taking. You have been doing whatever jobs you can get.
It's a polite way of putting it.
Yeah. But now, something interesting has come along.
Uh-huh.
And I will now read from the actual
Oh my
scenario
god,
text.
actually on the
Yes,
quick
there's
plate.
actual scenario text here.
Good god.
The bridge of the Narzalus is quiet, except for the steady hum of the ventilation system and the faint sound of avionic sensors. You've been travelling through the depths of the Dabadan system for the last week. At first it was just another mindless routine job. Pick up and drop off. You've done this 100 times before. But then something happened. A blurry signal from a representative for the Foundation. An offer of a lucrative mission if you found a missing ship, the Shamsa, carrying a professor from Dabadan. The pay was too good to turn down, and the coordinates of the last known position of the ship were just a short detour from your route anyway. So you took it. That was 2 days ago. Now suddenly the ship's sensors have come to life. Alerts and prompts warn you of something close by. It's not a ship. It's a station.
It's another ship with 3 large balls with spikes sticking out, forming an interconnected sort of triangular shape.
No, it is not. You've been watching far too much Blake 7. Not that there is such a thing as too much Blake 7, but if there were, that's what you'd have been watching.
Yeah.
So,
Any chance of a quick reminder, by the way, on our talents?
Okay, yeah, we can run through a quick reminder of your talents.
If you don't mind.
Not a problem. So each of you has got 3 talents. In fact, 4 in one case, but we'll skip over that.
Because I think everything else we can figure out for ourselves. But
one of your talents is your icon talent. It's basically an astrological thing. It's which of the icons, your sign you were born under. And each of those does something interesting. Each icon talent, unless you're told otherwise, can be used once per session and will always give me a darkness point, which I can use to do fun stuff. So, your icon talents, we have got Drut. If I remember rightly, you have the Faceless One's talent.
I do indeed.
Yes, this is the big one. Fate is on your side, giving you the benefit of getting to change a single concrete detail in a scene more to your favour.
Oh, yes.
Must be something that has a cosmetic or indirectly helpful effect. You cannot make an enemy disappear, but you can decide there's a knife within reach or that a window's been left open. Wouldn't do that one in space. It's a bad idea. GM has final say on what is possible to accomplish with the talent. Remember, you can only use it once per session.
No, I remembered it was good. I'd forgotten it was that.
Nightbites. I recall you have the Judge's talent. Which is once per session, at the cost of giving me a darkness point, you can deal an automatic critical injury when your attack hits, regardless of whether it penetrated cover and armour. All other effects from the attack are resolved as usual.
Presumably you also occasionally get to sit there and say that you are the law.
Possibly. And, Meki, you have got the Deckhands talent. So if your ship drops to 0 hull or energy points, you can restore d6 points of either kind instantly. This requires no action from you. It's the icons intervening on your behalf.
Ah.
So just having Meki on board means the ship is less likely to blow up.
Hence, he's your lucky
those
charm.
who could do this a good thing.
Yes.
Hence the lucky charm comment in my intro.
Right.
Indeed.
You also have a group talent. Because you are explorers as a group, you have a talent which you can use once per session between you.
Okay.
Does that mean we kind of get the veto discussion before we use it or not? Or
I
does
will
someone
leave
just
that
say,
entirely
I'm using the
up to
group
you.
talent?
I personally feel that yes, there should be a veto available on this. The rules do not say there is, but
there will be.
I think it's reasonable to assume that without a group decision, it's not going to get used. So, you can find important information or get a clue from the GM without rolling dice. The information must be important enough to be able to enable you to overcome a minor obstacle or a challenge in the scenario. The GM gets 1 darkness point per use, and you can use it once per session, as I say, for the whole group, not once per PC.
Okay.
So that's twice, really, that you can do some interesting stuff. Drat can change an element of a scene, and as a group, you can choose to gain a piece of information and a clue.
That works.
And I can deal a critical damage.
You can deal
Question.
Yo.
We do start with 0 darkness points, or are there some already in the pot?
Yeah, no, I am starting with 0 darkness points. There
Yeah.
are various things that will get me darkness points, which I'll run over when it becomes important. Probably will. Right, Knight, you've also got a cybernetic implant, which counts as a talent in this game. You've got that targeting scope.
Yes.
So basically, you've got a smart link for anybody who's played games like Shadowrun, and that on any aimed shot, effectively at short range or better, so not if it's point blank range and not if you just do a snapshot, but any aimed shot, you get an additional +1 to your ranged combat, which in this game means you get an extra die to roll. So normally you would be rolling, let's have a look, your ranged combat, lots of dice.
Yes. And on that test roll, 0
Still managed to
successes.
fail it, yeah. So that's what, 7 dice, so you get get 8. Apologies, I'm going to try not to cough down the microphone too much.
Oh, don't.
Remind me how I would add the +1 to my ranged combat.
Okay, bottom left of the Fantasy Grounds 2 screen, you will see a little blue circle with not very well coloured 0 and modifier written over the top of it. If you just click on that, modifier changes to adjusting, and you can type whatever you want. So you can put in 1 and it'll add 1, or as I've just done, you can put in 5 and it will roll ridiculous numbers of dice.
Yep, that works. I actually got 2 successes on that one.
Yeah.
It's 6 for success.
You can also drag things to the quick slots along the bottom of the screen. There are little slots numbered 1 to 12 there.
Oh.
Which correspond to your F keys. You can either click on them on screen, or you can press the F key to do whatever's in that. So, for example, let's say that you think there's going to be an awful lot of combat in a game. You can drag your ranged combat from your character sheet down to one of the quick slots and just be able to press a key to run that a lot. In one of Drut's games, for example, you would obviously put your sanity check in a quick slot because it's going to happen lots.
And whatever the equivalent of perception is.
And yeah, perception I think should just be automatically in the first quick slot on any game, really, because it's the most commonly used role in every role-playing game. I have posited in the past that role-playing games are essentially a series of perception rolls interrupted by role-playing and combat.
Yes, I can see that.
You can't react to something that you don't know about, so it's all about the perception checks in every game.
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons why some games, like anything on the Gumshoe system, took perception out of the game system altogether, and they just hand you the information, because that's what the game is about. They've skipped that mechanical aspect and focus on dealing with the information.
Yeah.
Can I just do a quick check? Just going to sound a little bit weird. Just for pronouns. Knight, I know yours is a fella.
He, yeah.
Zainab is a she, her. Is she had a fella, or is he a they? Yeah. Okay, just checking. I'm trying to get into the habit of thinking about such things.
And should you wish
just
to
on the
to
one-off.
NPCs, Zibo is he, and Ruya is she.
Yeah. That's fair enough, and that is it.
Continuing with your talents.
Get my head around it.
Drut, Zainab comes from a wealthy family.
Yes.
A wealthy family talent. Yeah, you can use the rumours of your family's vast riches to give yourself a +2 to manipulation in any situation where the GM deems it relevant.
That was it.
This talent does not care whether your family really is vastly rich, only that there be rumours of it that you can use.
Perception is better than reality.
Absolutely. So basically, if coming from a wealthy family would impress someone, you get the bonus to manipulation.
Credit rating.
It's credit rating, yeah, in COC terms. Meki, you have got the Third Eye ability, which gives you a +2 to observation when trying to detect a sneak attack or an ambush. So anytime that I want you to roll for one of those, I'm going to have to actually admit that's what it's for, because I've got to give you the +2 bonus. As a GM, I don't like that. I may make all the observation checks
in secret.
In secret, you never know. Oh, speaking of doing things in secret, you should find in the bottom right of Fantasy Grounds that there is another one of those little blue icons labelled Dice Tower.
Under my character sheet.
If you drag dice to the Dice Tower, then the result will not be shown to the other players, only to yourself and the GM. I think it shows it to you. It certainly shows it to me.
I can give it a try.
So where's the Dice Tower?
Should be. I can't see it because I'm on the GM screen and we don't get it.
Oh, there you go.
So it should be in the
bottom right, next to Jin.
Yeah.
It goes Jin, far right,
down
and
there,
then
yep.
Dice Tower.
Can we move that? Because that's nowhere near the dice.
No,
I've tried.
On the other side. Yeah, I mean, we're not really using the dice in this particular game because it uses a slightly odd setup. But one of the things that Fantasy Grounds is really good for is... I'm on the wrong thing. Nobody can see that. Hang on while I swap to the correct version of Fantasy Grounds. The player one is... The dice are actually nicely modelled and roll very prettily on the tabletop in front of you. Which is kind of cool. But that just rolls d6s in the normal, boring, old-fashioned way, which is not what Coriolis does. Coriolis, you're rolling a number of d6s and looking for 6s. Each 6 is a success. We should have one more talent to deal with, which I believe is... Which one did you go for? Was it the Exo specialist, that wasn't it? Yes.
Somebody had that.
So, Knight, yes, you are an exo specialist. Again, it's a bonus. You get a +2 to any dexterity or force checks when you're handling an exo of some kind, whether that be wielding a loader to kill the alien queen, or piloting
away from her, you
the
bitch.
aforementioned Warhammer mech in action against Davion. Neither of which will happen in this game, but there we go. They could.
You've got me checking. Right, so, Fritchie, I am Farouk. If there's an overlay that has me as Zainab, then that needs switching around. Who's got me as Zainab?
Yeah, I have got the names the wrong way round on
Whoops.
the overlay. Well done, me.
Is this because
This is
we
what
have
comes
Zainab
of
Farouk.
not properly paying attention when the players aren't actually there yet when you're writing it, and you don't read the name.
Wishful thinking.
Now, I've got to remember which way around the spelling was. One of you was a Q. Yeah, you are. Right, okay.
Yeah, I'm K.
Yeah, of course, yes, my first name is your middle name with a different spelling.
Yeah.
That's where the confusion came from, I suspect.
Yes. Yeah.
Fish your lifeline here.
Yep.
So, that doesn't help, it's got to be said. I could have just labelled the first two Farouk and I'd have been right.
Yeah, but you've got the spelling wrong. Yeah.
That's better. Thank you for pointing that one out. So, any more questions before we do something vaguely plot related?
I'm sure the folks in chat will have some questions shortly.
Oh, I'm sure. Questions coming up
yes.
somewhere, yes. But if you know how to roll your dice and you know what to do. So, yeah, you are approaching a station.
Okay.
I will.
That's presumably the proximity warning.
Yes, you've got a proximity warning going off telling you that there is a station, or telling you that there is something big enough that it's got to be a station, because people just aren't making ships that large.
Do we have it on just on the sensors or already in view?
Do we have windows?
That's a very good. That was going to be my next question. But what can I see with the good old-fashioned Mark 1 part 1?
Well, you've only got one Mark 1, old-fashioned Mark 1, yeah. Right, what you can see at the moment is really just a deeper darkness against the space. You can see
deeper darkness?
Yeah, you can see stars disappear behind it. The station does not appear to be lit up. So really, you know it's there, your sensors are telling you it's there, and you can see that it's obscuring, depending on the angle that you're at, whatever should be behind it, but you can't really see any details. You'll probably be able to when you get closer, but for now,
Seriously,
you're a little bit too far out yet.
Seriously, we've encountered something in space with me on board, and we're on the fucking dark side.
Inevitability is a thing.
Now you come to mention it, Drud. Yes.
Yes.
And the first thing my character is going to do as he sits on the sensor station is tuk tuk tuk. Since nothing changes, he will give an alert off to the others. And I have something on my sensors, and it's a big one.
What is it? What am I flying at? Because I need to know.
I don't know. Still calculating what the approximate shape will be.
I don't know. Doesn't help.
Do we have external floodlights?
Make me a data gen roll.
Do I just click the button now?
You should just be able to click the C. Yeah.
That's a lot of dice. Do I have that many dice?
You have that many dice when doing data gen. Yeah. It's a lot of dice. So, you still only got one success, however. But that is enough. That is a limited success. This game, slightly weirdly, is you get a limited success if you roll any sixes at all, and you get a critical success if you roll at least 3 sixes. And other than that, the number of sixes is largely irrelevant. So in this case, you can reveal the following. First off, I will give you a rough picture of the station. You can't see it as clearly as this just yet.
Okay.
Okay.
What
That
is
is the approximate
name?
shape of it, what you're looking at here.
Where is up and down?
Also tell that it has been powered down, but that the core is still functioning. You've got enough data readings to show that the reactor is still functioning, but is currently idling. There are weak life signs in the biodome, which is the dome at the top of the station. There is active gravity on the station.
But it's
How do
powered
we
down.
tell?
Your sensors are telling you this. What sensor you've got that can tell there's gravity on there, I do not know, but apparently you've got one.
My gravity sensors. Right.
Fires very small ping pong balls at the station, and if they
Watches where they move, yeah.
Okay. That is a
I think
weird looking
on a
thing.
successful sensor sweep, I'm also going to give you the information that it is approximately 200 yards tall. Tall is a silly way to describe anything in space, but from the biodome to what appears to be the bottom is approximately 200 yards, and at its widest point is about 160 yards across. The single biggest feature doesn't really show in that picture because you're looking at it from the side, but there is a tall, narrow oblong roughly in the center. That is a large sensor array that is sticking out towards the point of view here. So as you're approaching, you can see that it's got some sort of a big macro sensor, about 80 yards wide, attached to the side of the station.
Query. Is this something that he's managed to bring up for us? Or is this just on Shahad's screen in matrix numbers? That you have to be a data gin to understand?
Yeah, effectively, you can assume that he has been able to highlight the sensor, the visual view, so that you can
I
get
told you that
basic
I have something on my screen that looks like a dismembered chicken, just slightly larger. There are parts missing, and it appears that the station is powered down, but there is still a core functionality available, as well as there is a biodome as far as my electrical eyes can spy.
I'm just looking at something that's leapt out at me, and I don't know whether it's leaping out at anyone else. Which is, there appears to be a bloody great hole in it. Just left.
Where?
Okay, in the middle where you've got those concentric circles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought that
Down
see
and
where
left.
you're looking, yeah.
Yeah, I can see where you're looking.
Yeah.
down left.
Down
Okay.
and left, there is a ragged circular hole.
That is technically not a bloody great hole in it. However, as you get closer, you can see that top right on the picture, that area there does appear to have suffered significant damage. You can see, as you get close, you can see pockmarks across the whole thing that are the signs of micrometeors and other small space debris damage. But up in that top right section, you can see what looks like explosive damage, and sections of it are open to space.
That's not good.
Is the debris still flying around, or is it far off?
At the moment, you are not showing any significant amount of debris here. So anything that
Okay,
was
so
blown
our
close
ship
to-
is safe to get closer without getting distracted by tiny shrapnels.
Indeed.
Okay.
Another thing that you can see, both the sensors and the visual survey will be able to show this. It is rotating around its own axis approximately once every 2 minutes. So as
That's
you're carefully
fast.
approaching, you can just see it spinning around its own axis.
Mew.
That's going to make docking a joy.
Well, I'm not the pilot.
Finally, I
Fortunately, the
would
dock is
like-
my problem, not yours, but it'll be fine. We'll touch down without so much as a jolt.
If you hit the thing while it is spinning, it will be all of our problems.
Finally, I'd like
Just
you
as well that's
to
not
make
gonna
me an
happen then.
observation check.
It's a rhythm. You just gotta follow it.
So is
It's
that all
like
of us to make an
dancing.
observation?
Yes, you can all make an observation check because you're all looking at it.
Lots of dice.
Whoa!
No successes, unfortunately.
No, not between any of us.
Oh.
Wow.
So 10 dice and no successes. Yes, folks, this is a hint stream. This happens regularly.
Yep.
Yeah. You can tell I'm off colour.
There is a we haven't got one yet from Shihad.
Becky.
Oh, what?
Observation.
Observation, please.
Where did observation go?
If
There
it's not on your character sheet, oh good it is.
No, you can't.
And
make
also
it.
fails. Right.
We are
Statistically.
blind. What did you say about perception checks? Where does my skill come? +2 for observation?
That's
no,
only
it's
for
ambush.
sneak attacks
Ambush.
and ambushes.
That's an ambush.
So not going to apply in this
So
case.
17 dice.
So I was just
not
about to
one
say the
success.
same thing. Yeah. Welcome to the hint. What does it say on the streaming soon? Where high adventure meets low rolls? 17 dice, not a single 6. That's almost a record, I think.
Yeah, we
Right,
should have.
so, yeah.
We should have had at least 2, possibly 3.
There is absolutely no more information that I could have given you if you'd made that roll. Not in the slightest. Don't be silly. Of course there isn't. Don't even think that there might be.
Mm-hmm.
Someone try and radio them, see if there's any life in there.
Yeah, I'm picking up.
We're supposed to be looking for a
phone or
ship
whatever.
in this area. There's a station. Did they just mean a really big ship? Or has the station
this is-
swallowed the ship?
You can see it clearly enough to know that this is definitely a station. So
Well, if we're looking for a ship, then the station is a place to start.
Well, there are 2 things I'm going to do. 1, listen for active signals coming from it, and 2, then trying on different signals to, phone in.
okay. So again, I
Frequencies.
think let's have a data gen roll for that.
Ooh, what eyes? I see at least 2 successes.
2 successes. Right. So for that, I am going to let you pick up on 2 things. Firstly, you get an automatic ping back from the station from one of your hails, which shows that it has been received. There is an active communication system there, but nobody responds to you. But you know they definitely picked it up. Second, you get a passive reading from one side of the station, which appears to be a second communications device, not the station itself.
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
But significant, not like somebody's spacesuit, a major communications device, the sort of thing you might find on, say, a missing ship.
So, does it look like there is a docking setup anywhere visible to us?
Right, yes, your examination found an airlock, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
So you can either, it hasn't got a docking bay, but it has got an airlock that Farouk can attempt to bring the ship in and dock with, or which you could head across to using exosuits if you didn't trust his docking.
Approximately where?
Yeah.
On
What he said.
on the picture, hang on, I should be able to actually draw stuff on this and highlight it, but only if I do it on the GM screen, not on the other one. Let's find the right screen. I did this earlier on when I was when I was testing it. I was wondering why I couldn't draw pointers, and then I realised I was on the player screen instead. So let's see, pointers. Let's have an arrow. And I'm not the most subtle of people, so let's actually have
2 arrows.
multiple arrows.
So we
pointing
actually
you
need
to
to
the
get in
airlock. There we go.
Now you're getting overboard here.
through the letterbox then.
That letterbox, yes, is an airlock, apparently. I'm guessing there is an airlock within that, rather than that it's an airlock the shape and size of a letterbox.
Because that only happens in Elite Dangerous.
Yes. Or the Evil Empire.
Well, that would imply that you actually had a docking bay to fly a ship into, which it doesn't.
Which we already established there isn't.
No.
Where's that in relation to the passive ping that we got? Or am I not aware of the ping yet?
That's on the opposite side of the station. I'm quite willing to assume that Meki passed on Shihad's information, unless he says otherwise. So then you will know about the ping.
I'm picking up something else, but it's miles away from where we are, like on a different side of the station.
I really want to be able to...
Let's get a bearing on that other ping. Let's take a look around the other side.
Right. Can I get a piloting check from you?
Absolutely, you can.
You're trying to sort of line up and get a view at a specific place on the station.
Okay.
Oh, that looks good.
Good lord.
Yeah,
Oh.
again.
Two successes.
See,
Three
that looks so
successes is
much more
critical,
impressive
so
with the 5s,
Two
and then you
successes
realise...
is still pretty good. Right. Essentially, round the other side, you've got what appears to be an identical airlock in the same position on the far side. And attached, docked with it, is a ship, which matches the description that you have been given for the Shamsa.
Right.
Okay.
So our choices would seem to be EVA straight to the Shamsa.
Shihad, can you, from your sensors, read anything about the Shamsa there? Assuming that is the Shamsa. The ship on the docking lock.
I'll now allow another data gen roll to specifically scan the Shamsa.
Nah.
No, unfortunately, the station...
I can read the logo. Shamsa.
It's very small compared to the station, and unfortunately, it's just being completely overwhelmed.
It keeps turning too fast, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Well, hang on, let me lock this into the same rotation. That way we'll be in sequence with it, and you can try again.
Oh, this will be fun.
Buckle up.
Oh, God.
Seriously, Fishy, would synchronising our rotation with that of the station make his scanning of this specific area any easier?
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
No. It would certainly make it easier for you to look out of the window and try and gather what information you can by sight, but I don't think it's going to really affect the sensors.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is your pilot speaking. Please pay attention to the window to your right and gather as much observational information as you can from our target.
Oh, we've been forgetting the most important rule of this game.
Yeah?
Because I forgot it, and therefore neglected to remind you of it. We did talk about it when we created the characters, but that was 3 weeks ago. The way the game works, you roll your dice, and after you have rolled your dice, every single time, should you wish to, you can choose to re-roll anything that isn't a 6. But by doing so, and praying to the icons,
darkness.
you give me a darkness point. That's how I get my darkness points.
Per dice? Per dice?
Just one darkness point per re-roll.
Oh, for the
But you can re-roll any number of the dice, as many as you want.
I'm not risking 8 darkness points for you.
That would be a bit much.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, cast your eyes out of the starboard window. We will be looking at what we suspect is the Shamsa. Please get as much information as you can from your Mark 1 eyeball. If you have any range-finding equipment, telescope, binoculars, I suggest you use those to get a much better, closer view. Hang on tight, we're moving in.
Nice paint job.
Bringing up my equipment. Don't be so silly.
Well, possibly not. So, you know that whole re-rolling to give you a darkness point?
Yay! I made a roll, I think. Yes, I did.
I didn't get any 6s in that, so I would like to re-roll that roll,
yeah.
please.
Can I just say,
Feel
5
free, I'll
dice,
take a
3
darkness point.
6s.
So,
Some dice, 2 6s.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I got A6 on the second roll, that's fine.
Okay, that's
Okay,
all our
so, yeah,
observation skills, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so I press the right button. Yay!
So, pretty
Observation
good
skills of the
observation.
beast.
So, first thing, yes, it is the Shamsa. You can see the markings on the hull, identifying it as the Shamsa.
Okay.
The scenario doesn't tell me otherwise, so I'm going to say that it's a Scarab-class freighter, similar to the one that you're flying.
Okay.
The second thing that you can identify about the Shamsa is that it seems to be in pretty good condition.
Right.
It's not showing any obvious major damage, which implies that they came here on purpose, not because they needed to dock and get off the ship.
Right.
Third thing that you can see, and this is what you will see, Drup, because you got a critical success,
Nice.
is you can see, in essence, something wrong with the hull, which then when you look closer you realise appears to be some sort of biomass
Oh, great.
Because you're familiar with the type of ship, because you fly one, you know that's not meant to be there. Realising that it's not meant to be there, you then go on to identify it on the hull of the station as well. Before seeing it on the Shamsa, you hadn't realised it wasn't just a part of the station design, but now you can see that it is not. There is something, some sort of biomass that appears to have grown across parts of the station and now also onto the Shamsa.
Right, is that the green stuff? Or is that circuitry?
I'm not 100% sure. Possibly.
Just asking. Okay, I'm reevaluating the docking. I'm thinking now that going across in exosuits is not the most stupid idea. Because whatever that is...
Poke it from the outside first.
Yeah. That the gunk on the hull has grown there, and it has grown on there, and I don't want it growing on here.
Now that it's pointed out, whilst I'm concentrating on flying, is it visible to me what they're looking at there in terms of the gunk?
Oh yes, yes. Once it's pointed out to you and you realise it's not just a part of the station.
It's not just that they've got those lovely interior design moss walls.
I'm suddenly having visions of some of the sites in Elite where you've gone and look at the microid stuff.
I don't think we have enough cleaning agents.
I'm having flashbacks to the end of Series 2, Blake 7? Series 2, Series 3, I think it was. No, Series 3.
Series 3, you're thinking of.
Yeah.
That was an infection rather than a biomass.
Yeah. To be fair, I'm not willing to risk it.
Yeah, no offence, but I'm not putting my ship on that.
No.
But do we take samples?
Oh, absolutely.
Not.
You know, in the nature of research.
Absolutely not. We don't let that stuff aboard my ship. It's really simple.
I have two voices in my head and none of these are mine. Dear gods.
Oops.
Oh.
Sorry about that. Apparently the bot's being a bit enthusiastic about repeating characters in this case.
Yeah.
Too many exclamation marks. I blame you,
Although
Pippin.
Pippin is cute.
That was entirely Pippin's fault for being too cute.
Yes, blame the Cthulhuid cat.
Yes.
Yes, tentacle beast.
So, do we have such things as an autopilot? Because this thing's rotating. So if we're going to stay in synchronization with it, we need to stay also rotating with it.
Yeah,
is that a thing I can set an autopilot to do? Because if not, then either we're then relying on one of the two NPCs who's staying aboard to keep us in synchronization, or that's me for the rest of the session.
Yeah.
Right. You can kind of set this up, but it's not going to be perfect. However, Ruya is, in addition to the gunner, also your co-pilot, and is quite capable of maintaining station keeping while you go aboard.
Excellent. Let me just add that to my notes here. Gunner and co-pilot. Ruya, if we're going to go EXO, these guys are going to need me with them because I'm the EXO specialist, and I'm going to need you to keep us on station. You good with that?
Yep, that's fine. I can stay here away from the nasty gunk and just watch the ship.
Yep, that's going to be a lot of dangerous sitting you're going to be doing.
Probably best to leave me behind anyway. If you get into trouble, having the cavalry able to come and save you will be more useful than having me pinned down with you.
Yeah.
Actually,
absolutely.
Need saving? Nah.
Uh-huh. Oh, would you?
There is no such thing as doomed. You gotta stay positive.
Uh-huh. One of us has
Issues.
a more real reaction to the world.
So-
I'm sorry, I've got to go and locate some more tissues back in a second.
Okay. So, while Drut is doing that, you all have exosuits. So these are effectively spacesuits with a little bit of high tech added onto them for good measure. So you've got like servos and little thrusters and things like that.
Yeah,
So
like micro thrusters and.
you are capable of spacewalking. You also have available to you on board, should you wish to use it, a cable. So theoretically, you could go across, connect a cable to the airlock, and then just be able to go back and forth, sort of hand over hand, essentially, along the cable, using it as a guide, rather than needing to fly freely in space.
My recommendation, knowing that we've got a bucky cable, my recommendation would be for me to exo across with the bucky cable, get them across, then have Ruya or Zebo retract the bucky cable so there's as little in contact with the ship as possible. Then when we come to leave, I'll come over, get the cable, and then bring them back on the cable.
Yep, that's workable.
That's my proposal to the team. If we've got to repeat that when Druck gets back, I will.
Can suit up and stay in the airlock to retract the cable when you're ready.
Sorry about that, folks.
That's okay. Not sure if you caught my very rapidly half thought up plan there.
No, I didn't,
So
unfortunately.
the plan at the moment, Drat, is
Gimme.
for Farouk to jet across to the station with a cable.
Right.
Connect it to the airlock so that you can all get across easily using the cable as a guide. Then disattach the cable, and Zebo will be in the airlock of the Narzalus to retract the cable. When you want to come back, you'll do the same thing in reverse, with Farouk coming back to collect the cable and then bringing it back across to you.
Yeah.
That way you're not connected to the station and any possible threatening biomass.
Yeah. And if anything happens with the rotation, we're not risking ripping the ships apart or ship apart with a cable. And the person who's trained in exosuits gets to do this first. That works for me.
Yep.
Funnily enough, it was the person trained in exosuits that suggested it.
It was indeed.
And likewise on the return journey, I zip across, grab the cable, come back, and then bring you guys back with the cable.
That makes sense.
Because if all else fails, I can attach you guys to the cable and have Zebo just retract the cable with you guys attached.
And then you
In case you're still alive.
Thank you for that comforting thought there. Yes.
Yes, that's something I hadn't been
Shihad, you are a
about.
wonderfully comforting person. Please be more positive in future. We are going to do this. There's going to be no problem.
I was too positive before. You guys gotta make up your minds.
Alright.
Right.
I'm already heading out to get suited. Ruya, you've got the bridge.
Okay, so
Don't break my ship.
for
wait, I have
small
to press
items,
as
I'm
well.
not going to worry about it, but you do, I think, need to decide what you're likely to be taking with you in terms of larger items. If there are things that it's reasonable could be on board the ship, but you don't have in your equipment list, then yell out. I'm quite happy to allow for suitable ship's equipment, especially since you also would have had properly the opportunity to go through an equipment list and spend your starting funds in addition to the pieces of gear that your concept gave you.
A hand
So
weapon
other
of some
bits and pieces.
description.
Yeah, you came out without a hand weapon, didn't you? Or did
I
you?
did.
I'm trying to remember if I did or not. Where's the equipment on this?
I know
Inventory.
that you've got an accelerator pistol, Knight.
I've got an accelerator pistol, yes. I can't remember what the hell it does.
Must be
And I heard
Shihad
Vulcan
that
cricket.
had A Vulcan cricket.
Yes.
She's basically a
Yeah, I came out with
gyrojet
nothing.
gun, but a small one. So it's a cross between the Men in Black noisy cricket and a Warhammer 40k bolt gun, essentially.
Yeah.
So, Drut, if you want a weapon,
Yep.
let me have a look, see what sort of a weapon would you be likely to want? Because I'm assuming that you've got one if you want one, because you've got 5,000 beer to spend on starting gear.
I have ranged combat 1.
So
I
did you say
want
5,000 beer? That's
Yeah.
a lot of alcohol to drink.
I don't like
Yeah.
beer.
Beer's a catch-all. Whiskey, rum.
And that I can actually now 5,000 units. Now there's an idea.
It's going to take a long time to sing that song, though, isn't it? 5,000
Wow,
bottles of beer on
5,000
the wall.
bottles of beer on the wall. Oh god.
Mm.
Takes a longer stream.
And then the mind thing pops up on.
Yeah, poor things.
It does. Timing.
Timing.
Okay, I want something that is small enough to carry in pockets and does a reasonable amount of damage.
Right.
But not explosive if I can avoid it.
So no
Don't want
flamethrower.
explosives.
Well, as I said, I have 1 point in the skill.
And what skill to
about-
be exact?
Ranged combat.
Oh, I have none, I think.
Okay.
I'm firing at will. Pure will.
What's Will done to offend you?
Yes. He's on the Enterprise.
He spends a lot of his time sitting on
Get into that.
consoles.
Oh, I have melee combat.
So-
melee.
Melee.
Melee, okay. I can throw my gun.
I don't have a number by my ranged combat.
Mm.
But
Yeah, I think you technically do have a number by your ranged combat, but the sheet isn't big enough for it to show up.
But you fail anyhow.
doesn't.
I've got it.
Doesn't say, but it did roll a bunch of did roll a bunch of dice. So
Shall we go with considerably better than mine? Though I rolled a success in that test roll,
Yep.
so
He's
No,
still
you're right,
looking
you
for
don't
the
have a
trigger.
number next to your ranged combat. I somehow managed to miss it
Okay,
off.
I've got
your
my
ranged
PDF
combat
character
is
sheet here.
actually 2.
I was about to say, I've got my PDF. I can edit in. Oh, you've edited it in for me.
I
Thank you.
added it in for you. The wonder of being the GM.
Jolly decent of you. Thank you so much.
And,
Hey,
and also of having a touchscreen and not having to reach for a mouse. It's terribly convenient when the mouse is behind your rulebook.
Ah, yes.
good point. I really envy your touchscreen.
Yeah, I'm so glad I bought it when I did because the price went up almost immediately.
Yes,
afterwards.
it would be
No
so
way I
so
could afford
nice to
replace
have.
it now.
I'd like one there. Just that would be perfect for me.
Right, I think you've got to balance really, Drat, between cost and convenience. A Vulcan cricket is kind of slightly explosive. Not
Right.
hugely explosive, but slightly explosive, but is only 700 beer. Whereas a stun gun, which is not even slightly explosive, and otherwise fits your demands perfectly, is 2,000 beer because it's advanced technology.
Am I right in thinking the accelerator pistol is basically just a railgun, so not explosive because it's just slinging a metal slug out pretty quickly?
That is indeed a railgun. That's the other option. 700 beer again would for an accelerator pistol, or 500 for a Vulcan pistol.
It's going to be the stun pistol.
Okay, so yeah, that's a large chunk of your starting funds gone.
Ouch.
If you want
Yep.
to wipe 2,000 out of what you've got showing on the
Inventory.
inventory tab.
Oh, no, 3,000, not 2,000.
Stun weapons, popularly known as zap weapons, send powerful electrical pulses through a corridor of ionized air created by a laser beam. So effectively, it is a wireless taser. Which is very
mean.
handy, because that means it's something I've got a noise for.
Stun gun.
Why do you have a taser noise on call?
Why not?
It was included with one of the sound sets that I got from Sirenscape.
Fair enough. I've got a stun. It's a stun gun, not a fun gun.
It's a stun gun, not a fun gun. Yeah.
Well, it depends on your definition of fun and what sort of thing you enjoy.
Oh yeah. Right.
Now, I was wondering about. I'm just going to look up the size for you about your portable lab. whether it's
I was going
something
to ask
that you
about my
are going to
portable
be able
lab,
to take
yes.
with you or not.
How
Oh, for
portable
the
is my
samples will be not allowed to take.
Yeah, I was thinking if we study things there,
Then we're not bringing anything back.
then we're not bringing anything back. In worst case, we can just disinfect my
So
lab.
the
Being
portable
reasonable.
laboratory qualifies as heavy.
Right.
Weights in this game are a little bit vague. Light, heavy, tiny. Let's just have a quick look and see if it wants to tell me how heavy really comes out at.
How heavy?
Heavy man.
I can, however, help carrying, right?
Right, so it's an interestingly mechanical system. Heavy objects take up 2 rows on your equipment list. That's what it's going to tell me. This is very much a narrative system, so I'm entirely the wrong person to be running it, because I generally do simulation
You're heavily
systems.
mechanized and simulationist.
Yeah, but I'm capable of playing narrative systems. So
And the narrative one is currently having a cold and off in a corner
what
somewhere.
I'm going to ad-lib here is I'm going to say that your portable lab, when all closed up and not functioning, is like sort of a large attaché case style thing. So to get it across to the other station, is entirely possible, but even with the cable to go across with, it's going to require you to make a dexterity roll to get across and not lose it.
Hang
also,
on.
of course, doesn't have to be carried by you.
Sorry?
Also, of course, doesn't have to be carried by you.
No.
You could, in theory, as the captain, order your semi-namesake to take it across for you.
Yes, I was thinking that, or at least cable clamping it to my suit.
Yes, yeah. The danger with that would still be a dexterity check, but the difference there would be, instead of losing it, then
We lose you.
it would throw you off balance and you'd lose the cable.
Bye!
I mean, I'd have to come
By all
far.
means, if you want to do it that way, I'm
seen
fine with it.
Gravity. I have seen Gravity. I know how this works.
Badly.
Okay, how about... I'm sorry, I am still trying to work my way out of this. How about a compromise then?
A compromise, yes.
Yes.
Go ahead with your compromise.
Is there such a thing as a carabiner style clip in on this ship?
That, I'm assuming, is the
One
sort of
end.
thing that you will be using
Yes.
to connect your cable to the airlock on the other end.
Yes.
I
So,
think I can see where you're going.
for example, one end on the portable lab's handle, and the other end on the cable.
Yep.
And then I can just escort it through. I don't have to carry the damn thing. I can basically push it.
We can put it in a really big IKEA bag.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You've seen those things. Let's face it, you can get a bloody... I love IKEA.
You
I
can't
think they
have
spray
IKEA,
something on you.
unfortunately. IKEA, that's the fourth horizon. You're only in the third.
IKEA, where you have the most horrendous experience, and then as you're leaving, they must spray something on you that wipes your memory of the queue.
They don't spray anything. There's just a little red flashy light.
Since
Did you not know it's the hallucinogens in the meatballs?
Since we were on the size of things, the personal communicator class 4.
Yes.
That was
At
a fairly
least-
big thing, wasn't
Does
it?
it take 1, 2, 9 rolls of my inventory list?
If I remember rightly, those things were roughly the size of a 1980s mobile phone, but I will look it up.
I was assuming kind of the military communications backpack.
Yeah. I know at least one of us has something that is backpack
yes, the class
size.
4 is the backpack-sized one.
Yeah, you've got the one that you
So
can do
big
the
it must be
orbit.
carried in a harness and requires cells to work. Fuel
Yeah, I
cells, not
keyed
just
up
batteries.
harness for the win.
Yeah.
That's my to-go. And I think my portable computer will not be the size of a laptop, will be smaller. I mean, we're technically advanced.
Your computer is just normal, it's not heavy, unlike your communicator. So interestingly, yeah, your radio is bigger than your computer. There's a
Well,
funny
it's more
world there.
powerful on the long range.
Okay.
See, this is where I hold up my portable cassette deck and my cell phone.
Yes.
And say, yes,
Actually,
my radio
yeah.
is bigger than my computer.
Yes, I have fond
Fair
memories of my old boombox.
We'll ignore the fact that your communicator has actually got a radio in it.
Yeah, but does it have stereo? To be fair. I'm just... God, I swear to God I had a communicator. Where's it gone? Hang on.
You mean on your character sheet?
It's... Yes. No, it isn't. I'm going to have to take one. I'm hoping we've got some.
You had...
while the mobile phone storage...
no, you didn't have a communicator in the end. You had
No,
a
I didn't.
proximity sensor, a portable lab, a database, a medkit, and a compass.
I
Yes.
don't have a computer
However,
either.
Bring the medkit. I'm positive.
Oh, the med kit's coming.
Yeah, the medkit is positively coming.
a personal communicator...
I know there are...
The standard personal communicator is only a couple of hundred beer, so for purposes of keeping in contact that way, you can afford one if you want one in your starting gear. The alternative is you just leave your exosuit on, which will have communications gear in it.
No. Personal communicator and exosuit, belt, braces. So when we get BR Snassist, is that just a level 1 personal communicator?
Are you splashing out for communicators for the rest of the team?
The rest of you can keep your helmet on, just don't care about you.
The rest of you've got them, haven't you?
No. Well,
Oh.
No, just... There was an extensive discussion of communicators because Meki had a choice of which communicator to have. So we were going through what the different options were and how big.
yeah. Shahad has the big backpack communicator. I don't have anything.
Okay.
Communication-wise, I have some other cool gadgets.
I tell you what then, if I blow 600 beer, would that be 3 personal communicators?
That would be 3 personal communicators, yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's our in-game currency. I was so stuck on the 5,000 bottles of beer.
Yes, BIRR.
In your case, Meki, 10,000 because, actually no, it's not because you weren't privileged, so only 7,000.
No, I'm stationary.
Yeah, so 7,000 beer because you've got the 2,000
but I have the
actual money and
1,000
you've got the
cred
transactor. Yeah.
But that's for other purposes.
Yeah.
See, I only have 5 beer.
You mean 5 coins? 5.
You're at 5,000.
Oh.
Should have 5,000, yeah.
Oh, so that 5 is actually 5,000, not 5.
Ah,
Yeah, so how come I've ended up with 5,000
Yeah, that's...
as well?
You should
Does
have-
wealthy family not do anything like that?
That's why I was
No.
assuming mine was 5.
You bought the ship.
As I said earlier, wealthy family does not care whether your family is actually wealthy, only whether people think your family is wealthy.
Yeah, okay.
Your starting funds are determined by your status. In your case, you're both
Yeah.
privileged, so you both get 5,000 beer for your starting
Yeah.
funds.
Okay.
Stationary gets 2,000, 1,000 if you're the plebs that I can't remember what they call them now.
Plebs. Fair enough.
There we go, right, I've amended it
So-
to 5,000 now. In which case, I don't need you to buy me a comms thing. I can buy
No.
my own.
You can afford
I
your own
apologise for that.
communicator.
At what
I'll
store?
buy my own damn
right
communicator.
now?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, you can both sort your own communicators out. I pay for mine. No.
I'll share with you.
Yeah, the standard personal communicator, they say in here, are no bigger than a wristwatch. Some models are sewn into pieces of clothing or mounted in jewellery and other gear. So yeah, that's it's your Bluetooth without the need to attach it to anything for the personal comm.
So I could have it as like
Very
an
hackable.
arrow-shaped badge on my chest.
Yeah,
You could.
You could if you really wanted to. And those have about a 10-kilometre range. The next jump up is to a handheld communicator, which goes to 50-kilometre range.
So how much range has that backpack beast got?
That will reach
I
orbit.
can phone
Oh,
home.
God, yes.
Yeah, it's an orbital
Yes.
communicator. So that's
Yeah.
should you actually lose contact with your ship, you've got a certain limited time space in which he can still talk to it.
Come back. This isn't the end of a series
Where
of
the
fast
heck are
games.
you going? Oh, how many times did Ben Browder's character
Either
get
2 or
abandoned
3.
in space at the end of a series?
So last episode, stick him alone in space. With or without a suit.
The thing I haven't yet found in here, which I'm sure is here.
Your background, by the way, is strobing in and out like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it keeps blurring and then refocusing on your...
Yeah, it's because I keep looking down at the book.
Ah. So you haven't figured out
I'm just trying to find a description of your exosuit, and I'm failing utterly to find one. So
spacesuit.
yeah, it's just it would
For
be
short
nice
range
for me to know
communication,
what
we can use the spacesuits,
you've got,
right?
Yeah.
apart from a little bit of.
I choose to believe we're halfway between Alien and probably the 2000 AD adaptation of the stainless steel rat, which went with basically body stockings and goldfish bowl.
Ah, the good old goldfish bowl.
So somewhere halfway between those two, I think, and you're probably
I think you
okay.
need to rewatch both because now I'm confused.
Well, I think there's got to be a degree of complexity involved in designing suits in this setting. When most people are wearing those long flowing robe type things. You get that inside a spacesuit.
Did they actually wear that, according to the setting?
Yes.
Yeah, the jalaba, etc. That is standard gear.
Why do you think I have my dishcloth?
Yeah, fair enough. I'm only thinking, however, how?
Well, I
You're
think
right.
For practical purposes, or when suiting up, we like get down to our skivvies.
I'm just trying to.
Yes, I would assume that you would not be wearing such things underneath your spacesuit, to be honest. But
or
it's just
depends
an
how
interesting
the exosuits look like. If they are as bulky as the ones they sent for real life people to Mars, you can put in there a whole, I don't know, dancing gown.
Or we're talking Larry Niven-esque spray can with just the helmet and gloves over the top, and you could basically wear those underneath whatever else you're wearing.
Yeah, that's not what we're dealing with here.
Okay.
Definitely not what we're dealing with here.
Hey, it was worth a check.
Right.
Indeed.
So, okay, you've not thought of anything else beyond what's on your list that you want to take,
Right,
and there's nothing
my
really that you're
toolkit. I've got tools ordinary. How big are they? Is that sort of a tool wrap, or is that a snap-on box that I roll around the deck?
Yeah, we're talking toolbox or tool cabinet.
Tools ordinary are listed as normal, not heavy, so I'm assuming therefore you're looking at more like the roll sort of thing rather than a full box, yeah.
In which case, I'll take the tools with me.
Probably gets in the belt.
Tools primitive would be heavy, so presumably that's the tools that you've got are rather more efficient and versatile than the sort
probably
of thing that
newer,
you would have
lightweight
now.
materials. So I'll be taking the accelerator pistol, the tools, and just because we're exoing across, I'm going to have the hand jet.
Yeah,
because it might come in handy.
Absolutely,
yes. Who's got the fire extinguisher?
A small survival kit, like two energy bars and a coffee where you can just magically pull open and it starts to bubble. I don't know.
Survival rations, 100 beer.
So what you're saying is you want energy bars,
for 1 day of hard work, add half a litre of water per meal, and it will cook itself. That's impressive. Warm
energy
water
bars,
gives a tasty
space
meal.
coffee,
spider
salami.
Spider salami, yeah. You can
know
pick
Tesco
any
sell
two
those
random
chemical
plants and make
coffees.
yourself an energy bar. We know this because we've played EGS.
Yeah.
Unless the two random plants that you pick, in fact, make you space coffee instead.
In case they leave me on the station, that I at least survive long enough to swear at them.
Yep.
You've got the radio. You can swear at us for a very long time.
I know you can still hear me.
Yes, you're still in range. Turn around. I'm not going to shut up.
Yeah, the hand jet, by the way, gives you a +1 to dexterity in 0G. So far you've got a +3 mod to your roll to get across with this cable.
You can make loot.
This is why I suggested I go across with the cable, and then at the end of it, I do the Bucky run back.
Yeah.
What does the database?
Spot on.
Commander Fish.
Right, yes, you have got a library database. Now,
why do we even use the ship? It's so
quick
cool
look.
there.
Yeah.
if I don't find something in a hurry to tell me, I'm going to say that it's loaded on the ship's computer, because that makes sense.
Fair enough.
That would make sense.
Also, you were about to get jumped on.
Yeah, I am about to get jumped on. No, it's okay. He's been distracted. I've got my dice tower here for a change, and he's going to attempt to kill that instead.
Moggy.
You can tell this is a game that I'm used to, can't you?
Yeah.
We're all new to it.
Stuff
It's
in
fine.
the game. I know there's stuff in it. I remember. Yeah, it just says a specialised library database is an encyclopedia of information relating to a specific, usually narrow topic, used by a ship's computer or ship gin. So let's assume, in fact, that it's something equivalent to a USB stick with this database on. So you can have it with you if you want and plug it into whatever, such as Shihad's computer.
Yeah, I suspect it's not going to be of any use in this situation because if I've got archaeological one, yeah. Compass is coming with me.
You're in space. What good's a compass?
Because if it's got a gravity field, the odds are compass will talk with that gravity field, and at least I wouldn't be losing my way inside the station as badly.
If I'm remembering correctly from the character creation session, I think it will work as an inertial compass.
Yeah. I'm remembering it. Whether I'm remembering that accurately, I don't know, because at the moment I'm remembering like pink.
Well, in this case, I'm gonna bring like some proper marker in case there is a door we should not go ever through again.
Yeah, stuff like that. I'm absolutely fine with stuff like duct tape, markers, that kind of thing. It's the sort of thing that every ship will have on board.
Yeah.
Okay, so the compass does require a local magnetic field, but comes with a built-in altimeter. Not sure quite how that would work.
A built-in what?
Altimeter.
So you know how high you are in space.
Oh, the height.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
Again, that brings
maxes out
us back
the
to the
moment you leave
rooms
the
and
planet. It stays that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, given that this is a high-tech setting, I might be inclined to allow it to function in a limited way on board this station, yeah.
And should we have some of those in the exosuits as well? Because that's kind of survival part of an exosuit. Is there oxygen? Is there gravity?
You've definitely got oxygen.
Okay. So I'm going to take my personal communicator, my stun gun, my lab, med kit, and my compass.
Okay. So, I think we have got to the actual spacewalk, then.
I know. We've been trying to put it off.
Because we all know how bad my rolls are. My rolls, to be honest, are on a par with Fish's so far tonight.
And
so it's,
when you're saying that, you know it's bad. So, you can head down to the airlock.
So we survived it? Well,
we survived getting down to the airlock at least.
Oh, our airlock. Okay.
Yes, we successfully use our own lift.
Yay.
Possibly stairs.
And the airlock cycles, leaving you looking out at the station now. Not quite with the naked eye because you're wearing exosuits, but from the point where you now have to pretend to be talking over a radio the whole time.
Yes, we need the Elite Dangerous.
Everybody needs a filter over their microphone.
Yeah.
At this point, yeah. Just checking,
before the airlock cycles open, everybody is going to be instructed to hang on.
Yep, putting my clip in.
Yeah.
Well, the airlock will empty first, then the door will open. So there's no.
Yeah, it means nothing.
No decompression in that respect.
Yeah. Have you never seen a horror movie?
Night.
Fishy. What am I rolling here? Because there isn't an exosuit skill.
There is not. No, it's a dexterity roll.
Fuck.
With a total of +3 modifier.
Right, I don't have dexterity as a skill, so that's just straight agility.
That would be straight agility then. However, you're pretty good at agility, and you get +3 from your talent and equipment. So you're still rolling, what, 8 dice?
Should be something like that. Of which there was one success.
Getting one success.
Bye!
But you got one, so you don't have to pray to the icons yet.
Yes.
I've already done one pray to the icons this event, this session, just to get lined up.
Yes.
So, grabbing hold of your hand jet and clipping the cable to your belt, you do your best Subnautica across.
That's the point. Was that including the +1 from the hand jet?
Yes.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, +1 for my exoskeleton and +1 for the hand jet. Give me the +3.
Oh, right, okay.
Right. And at the far side, you arrive at the airlock on target.
Doink. Bounce off. Head back the way you came.
So
grab hold.
Remember that you didn't bring the cable.
It's a fairly standard airlock. It's got handholds essentially around it, so that you can hold on, and you can just clip the cable to one of those without any trouble at all.
Clunk.
Are you going to cycle the airlock, or at least open the outer airlock door now, or are you going to wait till everyone gets over here?
First thing I'll do is make sure to see if I can tell where it is in its cycle stage.
Okay.
Because if I try and open it when it's open on the inside, that's a bad thing generally.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to ask for a quick wits check on this.
Wits, that's a stat on itself, isn't it? Okay.
Not because it's difficult, but just because it's an unfamiliar design.
Yay.
Got a 6.
Okay. So, yeah, the airlock is currently closed and fully pressurized.
Okay, so it's closed on both sides.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I cycle it, it should vent itself quite happily and then open.
Yeah, provided it cycles properly. If you can't make it cycle and you have to open the door, then you do know that you need to worry about the fact that there's going to be air coming out.
Air coming out, and possibly debris.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So, okay, let's try its cycle sequence.
Right, let's go for a technology roll then.
Would that be, that's not datagen, is it? That's straight technology.
That's going to be straight technology in this case.
Okay.
Oh dear.
7 dice, not 1 fucking success.
Okay. So, do you want to pray to the icons on that one and get a reroll, or are you just accepting that you can't open it and hope somebody else can?
I'm accepting that I can't open it and maybe someone else can.
Okay, then.
So that would be Shahad then.
So, yeah.
Do you call back to us and say, oh shit?
I can't cycle the airlock. There's something hinky about it. It's not a design I'm used to, but I can't get the damn thing to cycle. Shahad, if you're the next one across, can you try and cycle it when you get here?
Oh dear, I heard my name.
So far, the only competent person here.
Could you straighten the line a bit? Coming through.
Because you're mine, I'll walk the line.
Since I have a straight line, I guess I don't need to roll, or?
No, you don't need to roll to get across because you've got the line to work across.
Okay.
Yeah, someone's already done that bit for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, a technology roll, please, to have a go at opening this airlock.
What technology?
Okay, yeah, not a technology roll then, because you don't have that. However, this is a system I will allow data.
But if there is a panel where I can plug anything in and see if there's a problem, like a quick diagnosis.
I will indeed allow a datagen roll on this one.
Okay.
Always take your hacker. Oh my god.
Dun dun dun.
That'll do not. Jesus.
Let me alter this program. Can I get access, please?
Sheesh. Okay. I think that destroys any darkness points.
What does the game suggest for critical success on datagen?
It greets me with my name.
I'm going to start calling him R2.
Yeah. Tricky.
Thank you, game, for being terribly helpful. Critical success, you reach your goal and achieve some unexpected bonus effect. Thanks.
Excellent.
Nice one, game.
Okay, so, yeah, what I'm going to give you is this. You connect your computer to the panel via a standard data interface. And not only are you able to cycle the airlock, but you also inadvertently find and access a camera on the other side of the airlock. You're now looking at the corridor inside. It is lit only by emergency lighting, which is very, very faint. But you can see that the corridor is intact, seems to be in good condition, and there's nothing obviously dangerous or wrong in there, apart from the fact that, which you already knew, everything seems to be cycled down and just in station keeping mode. So emergency lighting, but otherwise fine.
Yeah, it's all fine. It's all totally fine.
We're all fine here, thank you.
Nothing wrong with this at all.
We should be safe on the other side of the door. Once it's closed and we're there.
And yeah, the airlock will vent and then open. Doing so in silence because you're in space.
Okay.
So it's a fair-sized airlock. You can get a half a dozen people in here reasonably comfortably.
That's okay. There's only 3 of us and a lab.
So yeah, you can clamber in with the lab. I'm actually going to ask for a dexterity check to get the lab across, but nothing disastrous will happen if you fail. It will just be a delay.
Okay, because we've secured it.
Because you've got it secured, you should be safe.
I actually have dexterity 1. Woohoo!
Yeah, I mean, dexterity you can just roll on agility if you don't have the skill, but you do. So.
No, I'm good. 2 6s.
Yep.
On 4 dice.
So yeah, you get across quite handily, no problems whatsoever.
Yep. Pushing and pushing.
And you are able to all get into the airlock, which is nice and spacious. You can see exactly where what you're doing. There's room, and you can hit the button to close the door and recycle it and head on board with no trouble whatsoever.
Yeah. Slightly cheap marshmallows. Yes. And now we're out of the space silence.
Now you're out of the space silence. Yes, sound effects come back in.
Yep.
The door opens onto a corridor that is exactly as Shihad has already seen. Mm-hmm. The station is in darkness. Although there is emergency lighting here, you can actually see more from your suit lights than you can from the station's own lighting.
Right. Okay.
Oh, actually, there was a bit of reading I could have read you there for the airlock.
Okay.
Yeah, as you enter the airlock and close the outer hatch behind you, the beams from your suit lights cut through the darkness inside. Dust. No, something else. Dark particles. Old symbols on the door to the station. A helmet rests on the floor. The only sound is that of your own breathing. The cycling chamber contains fragments of the biomatter that you have seen on the outside of the station. As does the corridor inside. Doesn't show up over the camera and the because the emergency lighting is so low.
Yeah. Okay.
However, once you get in here, you can see this. This is a fairly standard airlock, as I said, but it does look old. It's not a design you're familiar with, and none of the gear here is a design you're familiar with. It looks like it's been here a long time. Large glass doors, panels with instructions written in old Dar, which you can read. And as I say, there is a helmet on the floor of the...
okay, I am going to do a silly, and I'm going to pick up the helmet.
I was about to kick it.
I just want to make sure it's unoccupied.
That's why I wanted to kick it.
There's nobody at... Oh.
It is a red exo helmet. And it is unoccupied. However, as you look at it, you can see that inside it has more of this biomatter that you can see, you've seen on the outside of the station.
Right. Okay. I'm thinking actually setting up my portable lab sooner rather than later. To be running samples of that biomatter.
Yeah.
While we are exploring and heading over to the Shamsa.
The inner door, meanwhile, has opened onto an octagonally shaped corridor, stretching off into the darkness of the station. Have any of you taken off your helmets, or at least opened them? You're still using your own air supply at the moment. Okay.
We haven't even checked to see if there's an atmosphere yet.
No.
She's gonna set up her lab, and I'm gonna
the airlock system.
Take a look at the
atmosphere.
Don't care. Until I analyse what this is and if it's prone to sporing.
Captain didn't allow.
We are sticking with our tanks.
Right. That does give you a time limit, of course.
It does give us a time limit. That's why I thought I'd set up the lab now, rather than have me standing over it. We can then head to the Shamsa.
Okay.
And figure out what we're dealing with later.
Right. So, what are you guys doing while Zeynep is setting up her portable lab?
Okay, so we're secure. Draw the particle pistol and start looking down the corridor, seeing what I can see.
Okay.
She's doing the weird sciencey thing. I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to interrupt her because she gets tetchy when you start interrupting the science.
This is not quite the right sound effect, but it might do.
Weird science. Bits and pieces, but
Might also just be a bit quiet. Yeah, I think that was a bit
this
quiet,
music
really.
sounds actually quite cheerful.
Right,
It's
as
elevator
you step
music.
out into the station, into the corridor, something feels wrong with the ground beneath your feet, and looking down, your light shines on something you've never before seen. The ground on board this station is covered in dark vines and weed.
Stepping back again, there's greenery here. There's vines and weeds in a space station. This isn't right. This isn't normal.
This is
Vines
not
and
normal.
weeds. And I'm stepping back, and I'm not going any further. Do our suits have cameras that we can patch into each other and see what each other are seeing?
I am going to say yes, because that is not unreasonable. Or
Yeah.
at least I'm going to say yes, they have cameras, but really the only person who can patch into them would be Shihad, who has got a computer to be able to, and a communicator to be able to hook together
Okay.
and get the signals.
If you
don't
s-
have a
take-
display for them on board your suits.
That's fair enough. Shihad, take a look at my cam. See what you can. So you can see what I'm seeing. Take a look at this. This is not right.
If you see any fruiting bodies, do try and collect some for me.
Any what? Sorry, bodies. There's no floating bodies.
Fruiting.
Growing.
I was trying not to think of it
Yeah.
that way, but if I see anything, I'll be sure to point it out to you. But I won't be touching a damn thing.
And to be honest, bodies would make an excellent growth medium.
You're not making me feel any more comfortable.
Uncomfortable, and you should stay alive.
I don't want to
You ever
interrupt
been in
this
a
fascinating
garden?
conversation, but maybe you could unlock the cable. I'd like to withdraw it now.
That's a very good point.
Yes.
No, actually, although nobody specified, you did say in advance that was the plan, so I'm assuming you
Yeah.
undid that before
Cool,
you cycled
thank
the
you,
airlock
yeah.
back through.
That would have been
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna
you'll get a
take,
very similar comment from Zebo, but instead of asking that you instead of requesting
glad it
that
has
you
been.
unclip the cable, just expressing how glad he is that you have.
Yep.
I will be taking a look at my computer, and since it's not recording endlessly all the time, I tell Farouk to hold still, so I can
Of
get
course.
a good look at the things on the floor.
Stepping back so that I'm not actually touching the vines and getting a good look.
Yeah, what you've
Yep.
got here is vines is the best way to describe this. Imagine the wall of an old building with vines crawling up it, but they're crawling along the floor instead. Dark growths and leaves, not going up the walls particularly, just along the floor here. But the floor of the corridor is covered with the stuff. There's no way you can get through without walking on it, unless you were to somehow turn off the gravity and float above it.
And they're not moving, as
No,
far as
there's-
we detect.
They look perfectly normal, apart from the fact that they're growing on the metal floor of a space station.
And there is no soil.
There's no. There logically must be a core plant somewhere that is sending out these vines, but which direction that would be in, you can't tell without some better biological knowledge, which would be a science roll.
And the next thing I'm gonna check after I made the small video. Are there any panels?
Oh,
on-
Christ! Whoops.
That sounded good.
Yeah, hang on. I managed to knock the volume control on my headset. Suddenly
Oh,
went up
indeed.
to 60%, which on
Well,
these
those
headsets.
headsets are loud, yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. I couldn't stop coughing.
Are there any plans or panels on the walls of the corridor, like saying, like, you are here, this thing is there and over there?
Not
It
from
should
the
be
angle
inside
that
an
you are
airlock.
currently looking at.
Okay.
It's
There's probably those
possible-
coloured lines on the
it's
floors, but they're
possible
covered in
that there may be
vines.
something, but it's at the moment you can't see the near wall because Farouk stepped back into the airlock. You can't see the walls on this side, so there could well be labels next to the airlock door telling you where you are, but till you step out you won't be able to tell that.
Oh, he didn't go very far, like he...
Literally, I stepped onto it,
Stepped out and probably stepped
and then
back again.
gingerly stepped back again.
You might
Okay.
be able to get the CCTV camera that you found out there to point back towards this wall at a shallow angle. You could have a go at that on a data gen roll if you wanted.
Oh, the attempt to screw up. Or not.
Hey,
Wow. That's a beautiful roll.
it only works out to 1 success. That's really annoying. Looking at all the 5s.
Yeah.
I know.
Kind of should be 5 and 6. But
It
it's
should.
fun so far. We
Yeah.
How did we end up?
So with 1 success, you can pan the camera around, and after a little bit, you manage to just about see that there is a panel to the left of the airlock door,
Yep,
which is
but
both
we're
a
still,
control panel, but also it's
emergency
got a
lighting.
label on it. Unfortunately, other than you're pretty certain that that top bit says airlock, you can't quite read the rest of it from here.
I know where we are. The airlock.
Okay. So, how long is it going to take me to get my lab set up?
I'm going to assume not too long. It is a portable lab. It's designed to be carted around and then set up again. So by the time they've finished looking at this, you should be set up and ready to go.
Okay. So I need some samples of the greenery.
Okay, well, there it is.
Yeah.
Farouk is standing closest.
Has anyone got a knife?
Yep.
Okay.
Farouk has a toolkit, so there's
Ah.
bound to be something there that can function as a knife.
Excellent.
And he's standing closest.
Yep.
Yeah.
I shall hand something vaguely resembling enough, whatever the sharp cutting implement within the toolkit happens
Yeah.
to be.
Probably some
Scalpel
sort
or
of
whatever.
multi-tool that includes a blade. You know.
Yeah.
Excellent. So you sit there for 10 minutes going, pick,
Does it
before you can get your
There's
fingernail
one
into-
here somewhere. You've got to
Yeah.
pull all the blades out around it
I've
to
got
get
a
the one
tool
you
here
want.
for taking stones out of a camel's hooves. Will that do?
Yes. Probably quite appropriate. Okay.
Okay.
So yes, I
you
will
can-
find the penknife equivalent.
What are you going to get? Are you going to take a leaf sample, or are you going to try and cut a sample from one of the actual sort
Does
of
it have
stalk
leaves?
things? It has leaves.
Oh.
Both.
Yikes.
Okay.
I'm going to
It's not
take
making me feel any more comfortable.
going to take a leaf first,
Mhm.
and then assuming that acidic sap does not spurt out like a fire hose.
Acidic sap does not spurt out like a fire hose.
For fuck's sake. Sorry. I will go on to take a small sample of one of the thinner actual vines.
Okay, as you are cutting this sample, you see underneath it, underneath the vine that you're cutting, you see something of a different reddish colour.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I will finish cutting this sample, and then I will basically just hoik up the mass and have a look underneath.
Okay, you hoik up the mass and peer underneath, and underneath you see the glove from an exosuit. It is dirty, but red, and looks to match, colour-wise, the helmet that you found in the airlock.
Right. I established that there was nobody in that helmet, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Just
some
checking.
green, just some goop.
And
And
yeah,
the glove,
possibly Swamp Thing's dandruff. Other than that, there was nothing in the helmet.
and the glove is simply the glove.
far as you can tell from here. It's just a glove.
Okay, I will cautiously pick up the glove, having bagged up my first 2 samples to go in my lab.
Okay.
I will cautiously pick up the glove.
2 little baggies and a glove.
Yeah.
As you pick up the glove, something falls out of it and clatters to the metal floor. You don't hear it very well because you're still in your helmet with your own air supply. But it doesn't take a genius to work out what it is, given that it appears to be white.
Ah.
A wedding ring.
Oh, you sweet summer child.
A maggot?
You go from one extreme to the other, really, don't you? It's totally innocent.
Just picked up. You can see other small finger-like bones still inside the glove.
Good.
Lovely.
Okay. Right. Well, I'm going to retreat back to where I've got my lab set up. Don't take your suits off, lads.
I wasn't planning on it. There's plants growing inside a station, not in a hydroponics bay.
Yeah.
My calm is a little disturbed.
How disturbed?
I don't like it here. Can we leave, please?
Not yet. But take a deep breath and, breathe gently. Actually, don't take a deep breath when we're on the clock.
We're on limited air.
But but the whole biocontrol. And I don't think it's just going on nothing. And she'll hold the glove open.
Oh,
in
that
front of
just
them.
Doesn't make me feel better. Are you suggesting that this thing is growing off of people?
I'm suggesting that bodies make an excellent growth medium.
You said that already. I was hoping you'd have a different hypothesis.
Yeah, so was I.
Over the communicator, you hear Zebo say, "I was hoping she'd never say it again."
Could I please have the glove?
Yes, I'm going to hoik out one of the finger bones, and again, that'll go into the sample set.
Yeah, you can keep the bones. You can keep. I just want the glove.
Can I please have a flamethrower? Possibly a tactical nuclear warhead?
Well, not
He's got the
necessarily, but if you
explosives.
can find a flamethrower,
I'm sure
I've got the sound effects.
Excellent.
I've got technology. I can probably make one.
We have the
Excellent.
technology. We can rebuild him.
Yes. Fuel, oxygen, fire. We can sort something out.
Regarding the glove.
Yep. I will give you the glove.
And the helmet. So I collect glove and helmet.
You're just trying to build your new exosuit, aren't you?
This isn't Pokemon. You don't have to collect them all.
No. It depends what size the glove is. If it's just one you slip over, or if it's like a full-length arm, there could be any tech inside. Same goes for the helmet if there are key devices.
Yes.
The glove goes back as far as the wrist, and then has.
Okay.
You can see it's from a vacuum suit. It's designed to latch on to an arm piece, much like the suits that you're wearing are. The helmet also, although it's an older design, is very similar. It does have a limited heads-up display, communications gear, and so forth in there. A quick examination reveals that it's pretty much just peripheral equipment. And you can see a data connection where once it's attached to the rest of the suit, it would then connect up to a computer somewhere in the suit that runs all of the rest of the hardware. Similar to the way yours are, the actual gubbins that do things are in your backpack, but then you've got data connections through to the helmet.
So what you're saying is we need to find the rest of him or
If you find the rest of him, there may be data then in that part of the suit.
Well, that won't be gross enough.
So it's not necessarily the rest of him or her we need to find, the rest of their suit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really just the backpack section. That's the important part for you.
I'm not sure that's helping.
Look, old technology always cheers me up.
So, Gut, which sample do you want to analyse first?
The vine.
Right, make me a science skill.
Yes, I forgot science was science!
If you're going to abbreviate it to just one subject and one word, then it has to be science.
Yep.
And possibly you can blind people with it. You might be able to poke them in the eye, I don't know.
Blinding me with science.
Oh, gorgeous.
Right.
Have a darkness point.
I don't mind if I do.
I was dreading you to say that.
And that's just another d6, isn't it?
That is basically, you can re-roll that roll.
I can re-roll,
You can roll all
okay.
of the dice that aren't sixes. You can do it even if you've got successes. If you've got two sixes, you can still spend a darkness point, or give me a
re-roll
darkness
everything
point,
else.
pray to the icons, and re-roll the others in the hope of getting a critical.
Yes. The icons are things like the Faceless One and such, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
The icons
Yes.
are the gods of this setting. You were born under the Faceless One, the sign of the Faceless One. Essentially, think of this as being astrology.
Yes.
There is a sign for each of the gods.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
No,
You've not been a
that's
good
just
girl lately, huh?
bad
Drat,
luck.
we can tell you're ill. That
Yeah,
never
you
happened
can.
to a Drat.
I
You
will
can,
tell you
actually.
now, and you can decide whether you want to do anything with this information. There is not a limit on rerolls. You can keep going, keep giving me darkness points until you get it, if you want to.
Have one more.
Okay.
Oh, thank God for that.
And 2 successes.
Now you could give him another one to go for 3.
Yeah, you could give me another one to go for the critical.
I could.
Now,
I know. I'm with you there, kind of magistrate.
holds out imaginary check with information on it. I don't want to give you this. Do you want to phone an
I
icon?
Ah!
Okay, so first thing, yes, this is a plant. The first thing
Yeah,
your
thanks.
data reveals to you that yes, this is a plant. This is not some weird alien construct or proto-matter or anything like that. This is an actual honest-to-God plant.
Right.
Secondly, although you don't have access to a full database,
No.
it does not appear to match any known catalogued plant.
Of course it doesn't. How detailed analysis, please don't make me say that again, can I perform with this lab?
I think fairly detailed, but I will just take another quick look at the description.
Can I, for example, get the DNA sequence?
That is a very good question.
Has somebody just wandered past your house tonight?
I think so. But given that we have had some undesirables doing something more than a wander past, I am just going to go and double check. I'll be right back.
Not a problem, Knight. If I'm wandering anywhere
Okay,
near
so
that
the
house with any
description
desire
says-
to be undesirable, that dog scared the life out of me even before I saw it.
Well, it's not going to scare the life out of you after you've seen it.
Well, no. This is true.
A portable lab unit that can be used for most analyses. Comes with bio, rad, chem, and spectral sensors.
Right?
And, importantly, which I hadn't noticed, I was thinking of it as it let you do it at all, gives you +2 to science for analysing foreign substances and objects.
Oh.
Reminds me
So-
how I add bonuses.
Right. For the moment,
With a modifier.
I would say let's just roll you the 2 extra dice and see whether you can get it up to a critical. So you can either... Oh, you can do it that way, that works.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So the result
Easier.
came out the same on that. But, yeah, down in the bottom left, there is that little
Oh,
blue
yeah, it's that
circle.
one, yeah.
Just click on there, press 2 to add 2 to it, and then when you roll the dice, it will add that to the next die roll.
Like that.
It's me having the hump now.
So, yeah.
Calling it for a 4. No, okay. You can tell Emil.
Yeah, clearly. Right,
Where's
so
Pippin gone? I just don't trust your cat when he's not on site, inside.
Yeah, he's wandered off and curled up to go to sleep. He's obviously not hungry enough to annoy me at the moment. He'll wake up again before the end of the stream.
Fair enough.
So do you want to make me another science roll, assuming that you're moving on and analysing the leaf next, yeah?
Yeah.
You do have access, of course, to another biosample, because there is some in the
helmet. Yeah.
And the leaf. Oh, because you just took the wine for now.
I haven't checked the leaf, and I haven't checked the helmet, nor have I checked the bone.
Yeah.
I'm obviously. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm on +2, and science. This is going to be on. In that case, the one from the helmet.
Okay, so moving on.
Because then I will come back to the leaf.
Okay.
Jeez Louise. All those dice and I get a success.
You still got a success, which is all you actually need. So, your visual examination of this makes it seem very likely that what's in the helmet matches the biomass outside, although you haven't a close look at the biomass outside.
No.
Your proper analysis, chemical, etc., with your portable lab, confirms that what is in the helmet matches the vine that you've already studied from the corridor. Now, given that the vine, the helmet was not overgrown, it was not. There's no vines in the airlock. How that got into the helmet is a little bit of a mystery at the moment, but it is matching biomass. It's definitely the same
Where's the
material.
rest of him? So we know where the hand is. But where's the rest of him?
Where is the rest indeed?
Follow the wines.
Yeah, I'm personally slightly astonished that the skull wasn't in the helmet.
Well, I poked around inside. There was no skull there. But yes.
Does the quantity inside the helmet equate roughly to the mass of a human skull?
Oh, definitely not. Nothing like as much.
Right, okay. I'm never sure how far down the hover track we're going, okay?
And you can't judge by knowing me, because I didn't write this.
No, you didn't. I can tell. Very different feel to your stuff. Okay. So yeah, it is the same material then. I'm going to go to the bone.
Okay. Again, give me a quick science roll to see how it comes out.
What I'm looking for specifically is I'm looking for contaminants. I'm looking for any deviation from biological human.
Yep. Okay.
Sorry. Really, I'm sorry, guys. Apologies for the coughing.
We'll get through.
See anything? Yes.
1, yep.
Yep, I got a success.
Yep, a success. Right.
I know how to turn the lab on.
First off, your analysis confirms that this is baseline human.
Okay, that's a good start.
The other piece of information that you will get nice and simply is your analysis indicates that this bone has been, for want of a better term, exposed to the air for something in the region of 80 to 90 years.
So it could be looking at natural decomposition.
So, yeah, the fact that there is only bone here is as likely to be natural decomposition as anything else. Though you don't know. I mean, it might not be. But whatever it is, that's been there a long time.
What about the model of the suit?
It's old, as I say,
It's
but
old.
not familiar to you.
Right. Okay, I'm going to go with the completionist attitude, and I'm going to check the leaf. Specifically, we're after how recent the growth is, ideally.
Okay.
If I can determine that.
So, science.
trying to remind myself to actually do the adjustment.
That was a bunch of dice.
Yep.
Yeah.
I get +2 to my science rolls. Probably didn't need to do all those darkness points.
Quick question in between. What color is the leaf?
The leaf is a very dark green.
Dark green, okay.
Okay.
So black vines, green leaves.
So what you've got...
Sounds like a really bad home decoration scheme.
What's like my room?
It's a little difficult to tell the...
I'm not judging, mine's purple.
A little difficult to tell the actual time period on growth.
Okay.
You can get an idea of a growth stage, which is that this plant appears to effectively be fully grown and stabilized at this point.
Okay.
The other thing that you will gather from this, the analysis specifically of the leaf, is that this plant is extremely resilient.
Yeah.
It seems to you quite likely that yes, although it doesn't appear quite the same, what's outside this station is probably the same plant as this, maybe slightly different if it's adapted to the vacuum, but this plant could quite readily survive there.
So what we have here is basically the plant version of Alien.
Well, so
There's
far
a happy
it
thought.
hasn't hugged anybody's faces, but...
How do we know?
Well, any of yous.
Yeah, okay. Pre-title sequence, however.
Pre-title sequence, who knows, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the good news, I don't think this thing killed
There
directly.
doesn't appear, by the way, your analysis has not flagged up anything toxic, acidic, or any other way immediately and directly dangerous about the plant.
Yeah.
So it's a weed, but you can't smoke it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Devastating.
Okay. I don't suppose there's anything, you spotted anything in the way of buds or flowers along the vines?
Not along this section here, no.
Right, well, whatever this is, dark green indicates it's photosynthesizing. If it's photosynthesizing off the pathetic emergency lights, that rather implies this is quite hard. Can I analyze a sample of just air with this lab? The station air.
I'm going to say no,
Fair
because
enough.
I don't think you've really got anything to hold a sample.
No, I mean there's a limit.
If you can, for want of a better term, capture some station air in a, an O2 tank or empty O2 tank or something, then I will let you analyse that. But for the moment, you'd just kind of be waving sensors in the air.
Yeah. No then. Okay. Right. Okay, I'm going to break the lab down then.
Okay.
So, this guy's been dead for about 80 years. Or at least he's been skeleton for at least 80 years.
How long would he need to be dead prior to being a skeleton? How long does that process take?
How long would the archaeologist have any clue as to such
the
things?
archaeologist might have some clue about that, yes. Unfortunately, she doesn't really have enough data because it's very variable depending on the conditions that the corpse is in. In station conditions like this, you would almost expect it to be more likely to mummify. But you don't know what difference this plant has made, or whether in fact there are other differences that have resulted in the plant. You also have none of you taken off your cracked open your exosuits yet. So you're making this assessment without actually knowing what the conditions around you even are.
Yeah.
Surely the sensors that we've got can tell us what the humidity is like, what the air's breathable, like what the temperature is. So we should be able to get
validation.
The air is breathable. The humidity is normal.
I suppose it would only flag if it wasn't.
But that's what it is at the moment.
Yeah.
You don't
I think
know
we're going to have to.
What it might have been in the past. You don't know if there is some kind of cycle going on here.
What was the message from the Shamsa? Regarding the Shamsa, sorry.
The message regarding the Shamsa. Okay. So the Foundation are one of the big factions in this setting. They're a faction that you would have had contact with in the past as a scientist and an archaeologist. They're kind of like they would be your faction, really. The information was a little bit vague. It regarded an expedition being carried out by... Let me quickly look this up. A doctor...
Sorry.
Right, there we go. Oh God, I've got to pronounce that. Right, a Professor Dahiljaba from the Institute of Planar Research, the Zenithian Institute of Planar Research, who took out one of the Institute's survey ships 2 months ago after wishing to investigate something that he believed he had discovered in the night sky. He was an astronomer.
Would the spinning of the station be visible as a feature to a planet-side astronomer?
Possibly. You know nothing about this station. It wasn't in your astrogational data, in your astrodiarium. So it seems that either the station has drifted here from somewhere else or knowledge of it has simply disappeared. If an astronomer found an item in this area of space, he may well have taken an expedition to see what it was, which could well be what you're looking for. But he leased the courier ship Shamsa and its crew and set out 2 months ago to investigate his finding. Presumably, one or both of the Foundation and the Institute of Planar Research know more about what he came here looking for, but that wasn't told to you.
They didn't feel the need to share that information. Yay!
That'd be too easy.
Sorry. Okay. I think we need to move on and see if we can find the Shamsa.
Right, before we do.
Yeah.
Now, maybe I'm taking this just a little too far, and feel free to shout me down if I am, but how about we see if we can turn off the gravity and float through these corridors without actually touching the vines?
That strikes me as an excellent idea.
Because
would do, but I'm missing a panel where to deactivate the gravity.
You're a data web. Data spider. Surf the web. All you need is a contact to the computers, right?
This is not Shadowrun. It's not going to be that easy.
This... Did you look at the model of the suit?
Yeah, it's
old.
old.
Older
I
than
get
me
that.
Twice.
I get that. So that if it's old, it's older technology, simpler to hack, right?
Yes.
Less
but
complex.
you need to find the port where to put your hacking thing into.
Didn't you plug one in outside?
The
I'm a bad man. I
the
know.
airlock systems that you've already interfaced with are not. They're isolated, effectively. They're not connected to the rest of the station.
Okay.
Somebody, when they built this station, decided it would be a bad idea to let somebody up on the flight deck or wherever have access to open and close the airlocks.
Okay.
I would give it a look in game, see how far I get, and very swiftly recognize I don't get far.
Yeah.
So, good idea.
Okay, so where would we find a terminal you could use to do that? Because I don't want to go too far along these corridors.
Yeah, I'm looking
My main
at
concern.
plan.
See, actually the spider parallel kind of works for me here. You see. Now, forgive me for being not overly biologically aware, so correct me if I'm wrong, Zenit, but what if whatever caused this is tapped into the vines and knows where we are when we're walking on the vines, like a spider knows when a fly's in the web?
Well, there's something I hadn't actually considered, and thank you for that. I didn't need to sleep tonight.
Ooh, I watched some old movies.
Me too.
It's possible.
That's where I got the idea.
It's possible. If they are, then they already noticed me cutting them.
Well, there's a pleasant thought. So what?
Or
So
opening the door to the station.
their current take on us would be, one guy stepped on us and stepped back to look at us, and the other one cut us open.
Yep.
Great. Moving on, looking forward down the corridor, Fish. Obviously, I know it's on the floor because I trod on it and we looked at it. Is it anywhere else around?
No, really.
Is it on
just the floor?
Okay.
So it's responding to the gravity, basically.
It is responding to the gravity. Are there handholds along the top of the corridor that could be used in case of loss of gravity?
I'm going to say yes, because it would make sense in a station like this.
I'm so glad you weren't about to suggest that we hand over hand and do pull-ups in normal
he's
gravity.
about to.
Yeah, I know. Strength
What it
2.
needs is one of us
3.
to get to where the port to hack the system would be. Now that technically would need to be the one that would need to hack the system.
Got left fun now.
So my question is, 1, can you get across this corridor to find a port? Or 2, could I do it and you tell me what needs to be done? Because what none of us brought was any kind of cable that we could use along the ceiling. If only we brought 20 meters of rope.
Uh-huh.
If only we had some soft rope, yes.
Yes.
I don't know, I have a multi-adapter over here. If you would be so kind to plug it in over there, it goes Wi-Fi to my computer here.
That also works.
Yeah, that actually would work, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will allow some sort of a wireless data connection over a limited range.
So my question to Dratameki, are we really looking at the guy with 0 dexterity skill to be the guy to monkey spring across this corridor?
Nobody has here dexterity.
I
no.
have.
I'm strong, and
Why did
I don't
I
know,
say
that dexterity would fit, but the points were kind of running away.
Yeah,
So,
I had the same issue.
For the fact that I'm 33 years old, I'm very
I would like
unskilled,
to
I
point
feel.
out that the only party member who has the dexterity skill still comes out rolling less dice than Farouk.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure if there was a deficit for being unskilled.
No, you just roll
No.
pure agility, which is still 1 higher than Drat's dexterity.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really
Give
don't
me
want
the
to do it.
adapter.
Yep.
Give me the Adapter.
There
Have
you
you
go.
got pockets or a belt I can hang it off?
Yeah, I mean, there's pouches on this suit.
Right.
Never underestimate the term pouch.
Question.
Okay.
I know it's designed to be done in 0G. I'm in an exosuit that has maneuvering thrusters on it.
Oh, that's not getting any
I have a
better.
hand jet.
Yes.
I'm not planning to use the hand jet because I'm going to need both hands to grip. But can I use the maneuvering thrusters to give me a little bit more momentum and maneuverability?
In regular G.
On a successful technology roll, I will give you a +1 modifier for the fact that you're still doing most of the work, but the thrusters are giving you a very small amount of assistance.
Okay, let's take a technology roll here. Given that I have that.
Oh, yeah, good point. Oh, hello.
2
There we
successes.
go.
Successes.
Do I?
If you can get it up to 3, I'll give you a +2 modifier instead of a +1. If you can get it to the critical.
Oh, the temptation.
But I do have a question. How far does he need to go? We still don't know where we need to plug it
Okay,
in.
looking into the corridor, either left or right, there is a door, let's say 4 meters away. So you've not got to get that far before you can get to the first door. Assuming, of course, that the vines haven't grown into that room.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
But the doors are shut. So it looks like if there was any vine in that room, it would be a separate plant.
Oh, well, there's something to look forward to.
Or it's found another way through some sort of
yeah.
cabling ducts and... Okay, so I'd be giving Fishy a darkness point to reroll 5 dice to get 1 6.
Well,
what happens if he fails now? Is the old roll done?
No, the old roll is still there. He keeps any dice he chooses not to re-roll, so the 2 6s are still there.
Right. You can have a darkness point, Fish. What's that?
That is a minus,
unfortunately,
plus,
rather
minus.
than...
those aren't dice.
Those aren't D6.
No.
Okay, where's the... there's the D6, right, okay.
Yeah.
It had a D12 on top of it. Let's try that again.
That's better.
And you got a 6.
1 more 6.
Yes. So, you can make your dexterity roll with a +2 bonus.
Hey.
Okay, now that comes off of agility. Which means I'm rolling 7 dice for this.
Yeah, spill the diff to anybody else. Oh my god.
Oh, you are kidding me.
Oh, look at that. The icons hate you.
So...
And your boosters go off. Nyong.
Do I pray to the icons again?
Do I get a 5th darkness point at this?
Do I
Hang
get
on.
a 5th darkness point on
Hang on. Would it be possible for there to have been, for example, a lighting fitting about halfway along this area, suitable to act as a handhold?
We're looking at strip lights, which aren't really very suitable for handholds, but I would allow...
Edge of a vent?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, an access panel that has a handle that can be accessed, that can be got hold of.
Yep.
Okay.
You just didn't notice it before.
So I do get a darkness point in that case, because
You
that's
do get a darkness
using
point.
your icon talent.
It is. I just changed reality.
Yep, reality alters slightly.
Do I need to roll something to grab hold of this? Or?
No. This was a significant talent use gets me a darkness point. I'm going to say so. Yeah, you are halfway, hanging.
Okay.
Hanging from the access point on a. From the an access point of some kind. There is a small hatch above you. And it's got handles either side. Clearly they are there so that you hold the handles and pull yourself up through the hatch. You're currently hanging from those, however.
Is the hatch open or
closed? The hatch looks like you can probably open it.
Let's open it. Is it hinged or is it completely removable? Because if it... And does it open inwards or outwards?
Completely removable. Okay, cool. It looks like it pushes up and slides to the side like a loft hatch.
Okay, cool. As long as it wasn't a remove it and drop it to the floor, because that would completely destroy the point.
I'm going to ask for a dexterity roll on this. You don't get the bonus anymore, but if you fail, it will just mean you're still hanging here. It's nothing disastrous can happen. It's just is there going to be a delay in getting through here?
Yeah, I'm still hanging.
So you've effectively what's happened then is you've sort of pulled yourself up a bit, shoved the hatch open, but couldn't quite get through. So you're now hanging underneath an open hatch. Your suit light is now showing a narrow crawl space above. Clearly this is for maintenance and repairs. So you're looking up, you can see the you can see the cabling from the strip lighting, stuff like that. Make me an observation check.
Ooh, observation. I have that one. But can't roll a 6.
Successes. Okay. With the shadows and the awkward angle, you can't tell whether there is any of the vine up there.
Sorry, you said
if
the
you want to just pull yourself up at this
Meanwhile,
point, I will allow that automatically. That's not going to be a roll.
What I don't want to do is go completely in, because I'm not sure if my suit's going to fit.
Okay.
But B, I just want to get up and have a better look around.
Right, pulling yourself up and getting a better look around, you can now see at this angle there is none of the vine up here in this crawlway. It is narrow here. You can pull yourself up. There is a risk, however, while wearing your suit, of getting stuck if you try and move along the crawlway.
Yeah, that's what I thought, which is why I didn't try and get full in. If I revert to my original plan to get right down to the end, do I still get my +2 from the maneuver jets?
I'm going to drop it to +1 at this point.
Okay.
I won't remove it completely because it was a critical. But it's not fully there.
Okay, there's a crawl space here. I could get through it without the suit, but if I'm wearing the suit to go through there, I'm going to get snagged on something and rip it open, and that's the last thing we need.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go through that route. I'm going to try and get down the end of the corridor as planned.
No problem. Hang in there.
Okay.
I'm hanging here right now.
I just love the fact I made a completely, I suppose, unnecessary modification to the station's layout.
I suspect I might need, might deserve a darkness point for the phrase "hang in there" at this point.
No, you don't. No, you're getting enough.
I deserve a light point for that one.
Yes. Yes, that actually annihilates one of the darkness points.
Right, let's do this. See if I can get to the end of the corridor.
So
Please give me a
dexterity
6.
check with a +1 bonus.
Oh, come on!
Oh,
You are fucking kidding me.
Apparently not.
do you want to re-roll it?
Do I want to give you another?
Do you want to give me another darkness point? I mean, all has been fine and lovely
Fuel
so far.
the beast, come
nothing
on.
has happened with these darkness points. You've given me loads and nothing's happened yet.
Yes.
You see,
Yeah. I want to lure you a bit deeper in first.
the problem is that, as I have just expressed in chat, we don't know what the rate of exchange is.
No, we don't.
Okay, would you like me to give you an idea of what the rate of exchange on darkness points is?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah,
Yes, mostly.
So, first thing I can do, I can spend a darkness point to do the same thing as you. It's the equivalent of praying to the icons. For 1 darkness point, I can let an NPC reroll. For 1 darkness point, I can have an NPC take the initiative and act first, irrespective of current initiative order.
Oh, good.
For 1 darkness point, I can have a PC run out of ammunition during a fight.
Yep.
You've only got to reload. You're assumed to have reloads on you, but I can require a reload at that point. For 3 darkness points, I can jam your weapon. There's a thing called reactive actions in this game, which is kind of like opportunity attack type of thing. You're reacting to something that's happening. NPCs don't normally do that. For 1 darkness point, I can let an NPC do that. For 3 darkness points, I can make a PC have lost an important possession. So, for example, I can spend 3 darkness points, and you suddenly realise just when you wanted to access it that you've dropped your library database somewhere and have to go back and look for it.
Fantastic.
For 1 to
That
3,
is 3.
For 1 to 3 darkness points, I can have the enemy receive reinforcements during a battle. For 2 darkness points, I can put in... Normally, I don't think I could do it in this scenario. For 2 darkness points, I can normally put an innocent bystander in the line of fire during a battle.
Oh, lovely.
For 1 darkness point, I can have a PC's personal problem pop up as being significant at the current time. 1 to 3 lets something dangerous in the environment happen, such as collapsing beams or landslides.
Sentient vines.
For 1 to 3 points, a PC can be suddenly stricken with a temporary dark madness. The darkness between the stars is a thing.
Sorry?
There are also various powers of darkness. Some creatures and NPCs might have darkness-inspired powers which cost me darkness points to use, similarly to the way you have talents that give me a darkness point when you use them.
Okay, I'm just looking at... we're going from, you can run out of ammo, they can take the initiative. possessed by dark madness.
Right, Fishy?
I'm sorry.
I also neglected to mention this earlier on. It's not going to be relevant now, but if we enjoy this and want to continue playing afterwards, I'm quite fine with that. And in future, you can take the time when you have access to a chapel, which you do on board your ship, to effectively prepare in advance for praying to the icons.
Oh, okay.
You make preparatory prayers to a specific icon before lunging into the fray and get a +1 modifier to rerolls when you pray to that same icon anytime later during the session. If it takes place in a chapel, your modifier is +2 rather than +1. So in fact, yeah, you can prepare even without the chapel. So you could still just take 5 minutes praying to the judge or the faceless one or what have you. But if you have access to a chapel, you can get a +2 bonus.
Cool.
Since it doesn't say otherwise, I'm assuming that +1, +2 is additional dice, because that's the way all other modifiers in this game work.
I'm also thinking chapel's probably a translation error.
Why?
Why?
Well, I don't know. Possibly it just comes off as
It's where you would
slightly...
find a chaplain.
Yeah, no, it's
I mean,
more that's more sort of the Western and Christian end of naming.
Well, yeah, there's probably an Arabic term for a chapel that we don't know, and that the audience of this game isn't likely to know, being
this is right.
English speakers.
Well,
if you can find out what that word is, I'm happy to use it
place. I don't know how thick religion is in this setting, other than the icons.
Yeah.
It's like a shrine room, like. There's the toilet and there's the shrine room.
This is a very spiritual setting. The icons are a part of everyday life. People pray to the icons all the time. This is why that's the mechanism for re-rolling. It's just a very common thing to utter a prayer to the icons before you do something, and they've given it a mechanical benefit. Likewise, this is why your freighter has got a chapel on board, because people are that religious.
Yeah.
The dark between the stars, which can be thought of as the devil in many ways, while commonly dismissed by most people, is a genuine of genuine interest to spacers, because the portals between the systems are mystical in nature. The darkness points will accrue when you jump between systems. That is one of the things that gives me darkness points, just going through a portal, because at that point you are traversing the darkness between the stars, and the darkness will build. So the darkness is a very real thing in this setting, and the icons are the opposite to that. So particularly spacers are very, very religious.
Makes sense.
Or superstitious might be a better term, because it's not really worship as such. It's more, give us a hand here, mate, rather than, oh, thou art so great.
Okay.
Meanwhile,
yes,
that was all about whether you're going to give me another darkness point.
Yes, and I am, because I've had 23 dice with no 6s.
Yeah, this is just getting silly now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it was agility +1, wasn't it?
It was agility +1. Yeah, you're making exactly the same roll again. Oh, would you believe it?
Kanisa, by the way, might be closer.
Okay. So...
But that's one to check.
Are you going to call it at that point?
I'm going to call it. I'm done. I'm not giving you any more.
Okay.
I think you're done. It's just no.
I'm actually going to slightly compound your failure at this point, and I am going to spend a
I thought you might.
Point.
Bastard.
I'm going to make a twist on one of the standard uses of darkness points here. What I'm going to say is that you start swinging across. There is a point where you've got to make a jump because the handholds are too far apart. And you start your swing, and as you are releasing your hand, all of the exertion that you have been doing with them, you suddenly realise that the tanks on your suit's thrusters have run dry. And you lose that edge just at that moment that you're releasing, when it's too late to change your angle. miss the next handhold and instead come down on your feet, but landing solidly on the vines, right next to the door that you were aiming for.
Well,
And
I
you
changed
won't be able to
reality
do-
for no reason.
without taking the time to refuel them, you won't be able to do anything with your suit thrusters from now onwards.
Which will make getting
You
back
probably
into-
have spare fuel on the suit, but it's going to take you a few minutes to replace it,
Yeah.
and probably requires somebody else to do it, because I doubt you can reach it while you're wearing the suit.
Yeah, I was about to say that would need someone else to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
And
you're
Okay.
standing in
hang
front
in
of
there.
a door.
Sorry, I shall now gingerly step off of the vine.
Uh-huh.
Sorry.
Yes, you're British. You step on the vine and you apologise to it.
Didn't mean to do that.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Telegraph
So
line.
the door in front of you. By the way,
Yes.
which way? They were roughly equidistant in either direction. So did you choose to turn right or left?
I went left.
Okay. The door in front of you has a label in Old Dar which reads "Suit Supplies."
Well, there's handy. Let's open the door.
Right. It grumbles a bit. The lock, it's a purely mechanical lock, is a little stiff. It's not quite a submarine turn the wheel routine, but it is a handle that
Yeah.
releases a catch. And then it grates as you drag it open because it hasn't been touched in many, many decades, in fact.
Again, backing up the whole 80-year-old thing.
Yeah.
Resists the temptation to
Behind
make a
the
crack.
sliding door, you find small room or large cupboard, your call. It's that size that could be labelled as either. There's mesh racking on the walls and some shelves, and indeed it does seem to contain things like tools and fuel tanks that you could probably jury rig to refuel your suit if you didn't already have one on you, and bits and pieces like that for no complete suits but supplies that you would imagine match the design of exosuit that you found the helmet of back in the
Air tanks?
Yeah,
yes,
that was my next
there
question.
are air tanks here indeed.
Start looking at those, because while we're doing all this in suits,
Yeah,
We're
we
using
need the
up air.
refills. Yeah, we need the
Right,
refills.
I am going to
Um,
make this a blind luck roll to determine whether or not there are any air tanks here that have air in. So,
Oh, and Linda, you and we can watch the live feed on my laptop. I'm not entirely recording this, but we get the live feed.
Yeah.
Posterity, I get it.
No,
It's
don't
fine.
over
You
yakety
know,
sacks.
it's a bit gritty, but hey, it's
would one
fun.
of you like to roll me one of those fudge dice that Knight accidentally rolled earlier on in Fantasy Grounds? If it comes up as a plus, you find air. That's
Yay.
a plus. You find air.
That's a plus.
Okay. And that was stacked against you because there's 2 blank faces on there as well as the 2 bonuses.
Now you tell us.
So yeah, looking around and poking, the first few tanks that you look at are either empty or so low as not to be worth bothering with. But then in the back of a locker at the back of the room, you find 2 full tanks. So there's enough in there to either top up all of you
I'll completely replenish
or
two of us.
completely replenish 2 of you. Since I don't know either way, I am going to say that you get 4 hours out of the tanks in your suits, because that seems like a reasonable.
Yeah.
You're not going to want often to be out spacewalking for longer.
For more than
that.
4
So
hours,
you've
no.
So you've effectively got 8 hours of spare oxygen here that you can use. And
Right, I should
while
pick
you-
up those tanks.
While
Oh,
you
go on.
decide what you're going to do next,
Uh-huh.
I am going to quickly AFK and kill my cat, among other things.
You know, probably feed the cat.
I rather want to ask, Drati, how are you feeling? Because I don't know, you seem like you suddenly got a fever. Your cheeks are blushing.
Yeah, the cold caps and stuff have literally just worn off. I felt them go,
So-
which I think is cheating.
It's for the benefit of your health. It's better when we lie all down. So you say the word, health first.
Yeah. I'm just annoyed that now I've stopped coughing every 3 seconds. I'm feeling really wretched. No, it is just that the 2 Lemsips and 2 cold caps I took earlier. Shut up! Don't whinge at me. All wore off at the same time. Yeah, I didn't tell you about the ibuprofen I took at the same time.
The ibuprofen is fine. That's different. That's an NSAID. But you shouldn't be.
No,
the other 2 have paracetamol in. Those are the 2 you shouldn't be taking together.
Yeah, I had Lemsips dissolved in Regen and a couple of cold caps. So I have actually been sipping the Lemsips with Regen all evening. So yeah, that got me this far, and I've just literally felt it switch off. So suddenly my eyes are just going, bam. And yeah, I thought I was feeling flushed.
Yes. We're not going to be angry with you. We know where you live, so we can come by any time.
Oh God, yes, thanks for that. Good point. Yeah, you do. Shit.
When you are healthy again.
Yes. That's such a threat. Oh God. Yeah, when Fish gets back, I'll check if we're at a position where we can stop, or whether he wants to take it on a little bit further. But I think I'll ask for the first convenient stopping point.
Sense. You don't want to do yourself any damage, or.
No, I'm sorry, guys. It really is driving me nuts.
That's fine.
But
I have no objection, because as Mickey says, health first, absolutely 100%, all the time, every time.
Yeah. But
back when the Great Streaming Plague was at its height, we had like 3 weeks where these didn't happen because Fishy had it, you had it, and I had it, pretty much in succession.
Yeah.
Because we were just in no way capable for doing it. So there's no shame in saying, look, I'm absolutely shafted. I cannot do this.
Yeah, this is just a mild resurgence, but it's nowhere near as bad. But it's as annoying. Fish, how much of that did you hear?
I could semi-hear parts of that. I assume that we are not going to be going much longer.
I'm not, sorry. I could back out.
But what I'll do, I will give you this next piece of information that you were going to get now anyway. And I think that's not unreasonable to call there. It's a fairly short session, but we've managed to get into the meat of things. We can pick it up next time from here.
Don't say meat.
So, from this cupboard, when you head back to the door with the oxygen tanks and wave them at your friends at the far end of the corridor, 4 meters down the corridor, saying, "Look what I found." From this angle, you can now actually see the panel by the airlock door. So you can see it does indeed say airlock, and it says airlock 4, main array. And underneath the panel, because underneath that you've got the control panel, and then beneath that there are 2 faded labels with arrows. Pointing towards you is an arrow labelled lab. Pointing in the other direction is an arrow labelled living.
Oh, decisions.
You realise what we get when we get to the one that says living, someone's going to add it scratched onto the plate in front of it.
The arrow pointing to living, by the way, is pointing towards the section of the station that you know to be at least partly open to space and to have suffered explosive damage.
If I was seeing vines suddenly growing all over my station, the thing I would do would be to try and find out what it was so I could destroy it, and that would take the lab. In my humble.
So do you want
are you asking for a decision?
I think
we
may
be
in
a couple of weeks to think about whether you're going to head to the lab, and if so, whether you're going to do it by walking on the vines, because you're kind of running out of other options at this point.
And see what's on the slab.
Huh.
I got a smile out of drop. That was worth it.
That was Oh boy, we are so doomed. We are the found footage.
Yeah,
this is kind of a... No, that's the eclipse phase scenario that I'd like to run.
Oh, good. How is it you're running the horror? No fair.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is
It makes a nice change. Normally it's you.
Dark. It's really with Coriolis, you're looking at more fairy tales rather than horror because it's the Arabian Nights thing. That's just it's a different style of fairy tale, but it is essentially fairy tales.
Yeah.
This is the dark end of fairy tales at the moment, but it's still fairy tales, and I'm enjoying running it. I must admit.
Cool.
Eclipse Phase does bill itself as horror. It does claim to be a sci-fi horror game.
Yeah, Eclipse Phase I've been tempted to run.
Oh, you're quite welcome to. I mean, I was going to, but you'd run it so well if you wanted to.
Well, I've got way too much on the books. I've got too much on the books, unfortunately.
So I think we're probably fairly safe to assume you're going to head to the lab. Just how you're going to get there is the thing that needs to be decided, yeah?
Yeah. I don't think there'll be anybody left in the land of the living, let's put it that way.
No, I don't.
Forward singing, walking on sunshine, where the floor crunches, walking on sunshine.
It's when the floor then joins in and starts singing in close harmony.
That's
I laughed.
Every
laughed. Walking Chess laughed. We killed it. It was a great time.
But
it's okay if it's in harmony. I'm good.
I don't think the sound effect that I can use for crunchy floors is really loud enough to work.
Yeah, it is.
I'll just
Yep. That's crunchy snow or vines. Dry vines.
It is footsteps in snow, but I figured it would work.
I could have gone a long time without hearing that noise and thinking that's what I'm walking on underfoot.
Sunshine.
Yeah, sunshine. I'm going with sunshine. Right, okay. So yeah, I think I've reached the end of my useful life.
Thank you, the three of you, for playing, and thank you, everybody, for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. Next week, we will be back to Nibiru.
Yes.
Assuming that Drat is not dead.
Oh, no.
Or otherwise incapacitated.
I'm getting better. It's just I'm not 100% at the moment. Yeah, Nibiru, it's the second half of the scenario, so you've got the wonderful situation of wandering around pitch black corridors looking for whatever a tunnel worm is.
So we're going from wandering through dark corridors to wandering through dark corridors.
I'm sensing a bit of a theme here, and that worries me.
Yeah, dark subterranean corridors.
So then the week after that, we will be heading to the old world to probably walk through some dark corridors.
Well, that wasn't on the plan, but now you've mentioned it, I might just see if I can write it in, just to keep the theme rolling.
Skaven, they live in dark corridors, don't they? Yeah.
Great, Skaven hunt.
So yeah, thank you for watching. If you're watching this on the either live or VOD on Twitch, on either Nightbites, Dratacup or Hint Plays, don't forget that there's another 2 channels involved in this. You should be able to get the multi-link if you're live. If not, then I'm sure there will be a way of finding us. So if you're enjoying it, by all means, follow everybody. If you're watching on YouTube, because this gets put up to Dratacup is the official repository of all things Hint Plays, but it may appear on other channels as well. Who knows? Do look us up on Twitch if you want to watch us live and get involved with the game by yelling abuse at us as we do stupid things.
Yep.
That's traditionally what chat is for, to tell us how daft we're being when we do something blindingly obviously wrong.
Or to encourage us to do something really stupid.
We don't need encouragement for that.
No.
Okay, fair enough.
So yeah, we'll call it a night there and see you hopefully next week for something